They will custom design a plan managed by you, not the
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
He has no regrets. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's what former President Trump told reporters today after voting in Florida, saying he ran his best campaign and feels confident, and that it appears Republicans are turning out in force.
We'll see how it turns out, but it seems that they have really shown up in force. I just got a call from Dan Patrick in Texas. He said they've never seen anything like it.
Referring to the Texas lieutenant governor, Trump also just visiting his campaign headquarters in West Palm Beach.
And it's a movement. There's never been a movement like this, and we're going to turn our country around.
He and the former First Lady thanking campaign staffers and volunteers for all of their hard work. In Pennsylvania, a warm welcome for Harris running mate Tim Walz, stopping into a diner in Harrisburg.
Thank you to folks across this country who wrap their arms around our family, and I hope saw yourselves in us, middle-class folks who are just trying to do the right thing by their community.
Walz says Vice President Kamala Harris wakes up every day thinking about the American people. Harris and Walz are two of the more than 82 million people who voted early. Republicans have lost a fight over polling monitors in 2 states.
The Justice Department is being allowed to send lawyers to monitor compliance with federal voting rights laws in Missouri and Texas. Today's rulings by a pair of judges denies the restraining order request from the Republican-led states. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton argued that federal monitors impede the state's ability to run free and fair elections. Missouri's lawsuit claimed the monitors would displace state election officials.
Fox's Laura Cantor. Voting is underway in all 50 states. The earliest states to close polls will finish voting at 7 p.m. Fox News Radio will have special election night coverage beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern. You can check for updates on this station or at foxnewsradio.com. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our rain will be tapering off as we go through the afternoon, but still periods of rain and a couple of thunderstorms around. Windy, 69-70 for the high. Tonight, clearing skies. Our skies crystal clear by about midnight at the latest. 44 for the low. Wednesday, a gorgeous day. A little chilly to start. Sunny and 65 Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, sunny and 63. More wet. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
At Lake
Lakeside Renovation and Design, our secret sauce isn't just the tools we use or the materials we choose. It's our people. We're not just builders. We're local craftsmen, highly skilled in our trades. Our team takes immense pride in transforming homeowners' visions into reality. We're not just in the business of remodeling. We're in the business of making homes more beautiful, comfortable, and valuable. What sets us apart? Integrity and honesty. Our craftsmen exceed expectations because we care. Lakeside, where every nail, every cut, every detail is a testament to our commitment to you.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Appreciate you coming out to see one of the great traditions, of course, in American democracy. I, of course, voted for Donald Trump and myself. So did my wife, and we also, for all the locals out there, we voted for Bernie Moreno for the United States Senate. And if you want the policies of Donald J. Trump in the United States Senate, then Bernie Moreno is the only candidate in this race who I think is the candidate of peace and prosperity for the United States Senate. So I hope people will get President Trump over the finish line. I hope people here in Ohio will get Bernie Moreno over the finish line. Look, I feel good. You never know until you know, but I feel good about this race. I felt good about my own race a couple of years ago when I voted in this exact same spot. Hopefully it goes as well for President Trump and me as it went for me a couple of years ago in the state of Ohio. So appreciate you guys being here. Happy to take a few questions. You obviously can see my kids bouncing around here. There's Usha.
So there's JD Vance speaking right after voting today here on Election Day. We are here, folks. We have made it. We've been counting down Election Day. Ryan, you said this yesterday, probably since the midterms. The midterms didn't go the way we wanted them to. We had high hopes, and we didn't stick the landing on the midterms. And so I thought, well, let's count down to the next one, and today is the day. The YouTube live chat poll for today. If you go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel, which I'm going to encourage you to do here right now, I want you to vote today's poll. How are you feeling? Confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? Please go there and tell us how you're feeling. You can leave your comments. So we're going to take some calls here. I'm going to unblock the phones right now, so if people want to get in line to give us a call, they can. 314-241-9797. Probably going to do that in the second break, but I'm going to open them right now. If you want to sit and you want to wait and you want to hold, 314-241-9797. I want to know how you're feeling today. At 12:20, I'm going to play our song that takes us out into the break. I'm going to let this song play a little bit more, a little bit of a palate cleanse as we move through this afternoon, through this day that kind of sets the tone for where my mind is right now. Because there's I was up last night, we talked about this being on Twitter, like having to shut Twitter off because you're like looking for the answer. And the answer hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So you're just trying, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be on Twitter at 1:30 in the morning and figure this thing out for the people. Like, go to bed, Annie. What are you doing?
You can say
being
it's
ridiculous.
for the people all day. It's
No,
not for the people. It's for you.
Me. It's for me. Like last night, I'm sitting in my chair. The election night watch party stream is up right now on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. So if you're coming to say hi on the YouTube channel for the live broadcast right now, when you go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel, you can just turn the notification on for when we go live this evening as we watch results come in. And I'm sitting there, got that done, watching the Trump rally, the final Trump rally, as it's taking place. At it was 2 a.m. when that thing was wrapping up, and just kind of watching Donald Trump do something last night that what he's done so many times, and knowing that this is, like, good gracious, it has to be the last Trump rally of this kind, and just kind of watching it. And it wasn't anything that I hadn't seen before. It was vintage Trump. It was a closing argument that has been coherent from the moment that he decided to run again. He knew what he wanted to do if he were to be elected president, and today he's asking you to show up and vote for him. I mean, I have to tell you that I have been on a roller coaster of emotions regarding what's going to happen today, and I keep just trying to turn it over, let it go, be still, which is what I've put on my X account and encouraging people to join me in doing so. But it seems like this should go a certain way. And honestly, the more hopeful I get, the more anxious I get. This is going to be a difficult poll for me to answer. How are you feeling? I didn't include nauseous because I thought, man, that'd be everybody probably. It doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum. We're all feeling a little nauseous. We all think the stakes are high. I was driving in this rain. As the rain is coming down, a lot of times I feel like election days here have always just been like super fall, bright and sunny. It's like just a very hopeful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't had rain like this.
We haven't had rain like this outside
Ever.
This is crazy.
Literally, the National Weather Service in St. Louis said that this is the most rain in a day in St. Louis ever.
Wow, I didn't know it was that historic.
3 3/4 of an inch.
Wow, we've had a lot.
At the point of the tweet from earlier today. And so at 12:20, in 8 minutes from right now, I'm going to play a song for you, and it's a song I'm holding in my heart. And I want you to come join us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. I'm going to ask you if you're a praying person, if you're a good vibes and good thoughts person. I certainly have explained who I pray to. I know that that's not who everyone prays to. But at 12:20, I'm going to play a song for you. I don't traditionally play full songs, but we're going to do that today. It's a Michael W. Smith song, and I want you to sit and listen. And I just want, if you have, it's the noon hour. I'm taking the moment here because it's the noon hour. I think a lot of you have the ability to just sit still for maybe about 2.5, 3 minutes. And as the anxiety is coming in, and as the anxiety is coming over because the stakes are so high, I want you to sit still at 12:20 with us, and just go to the place where you need to go to put that anxiety where it needs to be, to turn it over. The reason why I've developed a very, very, very good skill of being able to, in my mind, file away like how serious, like what's the consequences if this thing doesn't go the way I need it to go. For instance, I will go to coaching kids sports. I have learned probably in the last 5 years that if you lose a sporting event, the next day is literally the same as if you would have won. When you pour your heart and soul into something, when it's your child, if you have the added pressure of being a coach or something like that, like the stakes seem so high. This weekend, our girls are playing in the state tournament this past weekend. And these girls have had to push through so much this season, push through difficult things where in some cases, there are instances where people with injuries, with physical challenges, just with everything that goes along with playing in a team sport, it's a lot. And it would be a lot easier to quit and stop and just be like, I don't really need this. But they continue to persevere. And they finished 4th place in the state of Illinois. I was very, very proud of them. But even, we lost our last game. Even when I went into it, I'm like, if we lose this match, it's literally okay. And I had to tell myself that for so long before I actually believed myself when I was saying it. Like, I had to actively participate in, it'll be okay. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. And in this instance, like, I find myself, because I don't know, because I'm a control freak, I'm an information fiend. I want data. I want information. I want to be able to be the person who spends a little bit extra time soaking in all the information so that I can piece it together and hand it over to you the way I see it, so that you can use the information that I've gleaned for your ability to think for yourself. And so I'm constantly in pursuit of information for anything. Like, when I go on vacation, I have done a lot of research on how to do that vacation tops. It's how I function. It's how I cope. If I have worries, I just try to learn more so I can try to be better at whatever said thing is. And we're at the point right now where we have to let go and let God and just sit back and know, I mean, this is the hard part. And I'm trying to have to tell myself this at the next level. Because the truth of the matter is I feel hopeful. Like, I actually feel excited and hopeful. And then the anxious version of me wants to smack my face and say, snap out of it, hunker down, like, this could go bad. So the emotions are all over the place. And I'm curious if you're feeling the same way. I'm curious if you feel the pressure of this. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, this isn't like a volleyball match. This really matters. If this goes bad, it's a huge, huge problem. And then I realize that the thing that really matters is beyond even this. And that having to have all the information, and literally what I'm saying is I just want to have control. I have an educated opinion on this. So do you. Our opinions might differ from one another. But the educated opinion that I have on it dictates that a certain outcome should happen. And if it doesn't happen that way, it's an epic disaster. If that's where my hope lies. And I'm just finding it very interesting that the thing that I actually am kind of high on right now, I am kind of hopeful on, isn't enough to give me peace. And I kind of find it interesting here in St. Louis. I don't know where you're listening to the show. Most people are in the bi-state region here. Beautiful day in some other places. I think the Midwest is dealing with a bit of rain top to bottom. That rain can kind of seem kind of sad and kind of gloomy, kind of is a little bit of a downer, makes you want to stay inside, makes you want to hunker down, but it's also something else. And if I am 100% checking anxious. If that is not explicitly clear right now, I am 100% clicking anxious. The thing that calms anxiety is hope. When you can squarely shift your focus of your worry and your anxiety on something that gives you true and honest hope, that's the salve that covers the anxiety and gives you peace. And I'm just finding that the thing that would be easy to put hope in isn't enough. Now, it'll feel good if that hope materializes into the thing that I want to have happen. And if you listen to the show, you, of course, know what that is. I really hope that Donald Trump wins this election. But I'm not going to put my hope in Donald Trump today. And like I said before, it took me years as a coach to say, Annie, if your 10-year-olds lose the volleyball game that you're coaching, Tuesday will be fine. Wednesday will be fine. I had to say that to myself over and over and over again. If the sales pitch doesn't go exactly how I expected it to go, if I don't make the deal, if this relationship doesn't materialize the way I hoped, if I lose the job, if all of these things don't go the way that I want, it will be okay. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I wish I knew the song that Molly sings to sing the days of the week. Days of the week. Days of the week.
That's the Addams Family, just so you know.
No, it's not. It's Days of the Week.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that the original...
Pretty sure the Days of the Week existed before the Addams Family.
So the Addams Family was a version of Days of the Week.
Plagiarism, honestly.
Okay. I believe you.
Just give me about 2 or 3 minutes here at 12:20 and sit still with me and with the show and center yourself on where the hope comes from. Because Whatever's going to happen, it's about to happen. And I don't care which side you're on. If I'm unhappy with the results, if your hope doesn't lie in what we're going to find out in the next 24 hours, then you don't have devastation on the other end. You might have more work to do. It doesn't absolve you of the work that is necessary to be done for the next election cycle. These things do matter. But there is something that matters more. There is something that will make Wednesday and Thursday and Friday okay. So give me a couple minutes of your time. We'll be right back.
Is coming down, is coming nearer to this old town. Rich and poor, the weak and strong, it's bringing mercy, it won't be long. Healing rain is coming down, it's coming closer to the lost and found. Tears of joy and tears of shame are washed forever in Jesus' name. Healing rain, it comes with fire, so let it fall and take us higher. Healing rain, I'm not afraid to be washed in heaven's rain. Lift your heads, let us return to the mercy seat where time began. And in your eyes, I see the pain. Come soak this dry heart with healing rain. And only you, the Son of Man, could take a leper and let him stand. So lift your hands, they can be held by someone greater, the great I am. The healing rain, it comes with fire, so let it fall and take us higher. Healing rain, I'm not afraid to be washed in heaven's rain. To be washed in heaven's rain.
It's that time again, where we choose who we think is the best candidate for office. It's a difficult decision that requires the evaluation of contenders. Do they have the appropriate skills and experience for this office? Are they the right type of leader? Do they have a clear vision? Selecting the right candidate is no easy feat. That's why, for your office, there's ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes choosing the right candidate for any office easy because they only find and send you the most qualified people for your roles. Best of all, they do it fast. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, while you're thinking about that really big decision, rest assured that any other hiring decision will be much easier when you use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-296-3315. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now. 800-296-3315.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-296-3315. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-296-3315 or oxcarcare.com.
We've been here 30 years. 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 FM Talk is your home for Election Night 2024. On air and online, we're covering the races that matter most to you with real-time results and expert commentary. Democracy 2024. This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
From the sea.
Nate Cohen writes that white Republicans are 16% less likely to answer the phones in the polls. So is that in case? The election will determine that. And then we'll look back and say this was wrong about the polls and we rely too much on the polls. I look at where the ground is and I look where the environment is. You can have a great candidate, but timing is everything. I go back to the Gallup poll asking, do you identify with Republican or Democrat? For the first time in history, Republicans won that, 48 to 45. Generic ballot is better for us. So the climate is better. It's whether who gets the low propensity voters out. There is not an undecided voter in America. That's a myth.
So there you have Kevin McCarthy, who I have really enjoyed in his new role as I get to say and do whatever I want and pull the curtain back and talk about what it was like to be in the room with people who are making decisions, so on and so forth. The undecided voter, you know, that's kind of one of the things when I was watching the Trump rally last night. I know Kamala Harris had a rally, but like, what do you do? If you waited, I mean, Joe Rogan endorsed Donald Trump last night. I'm almost like, you should have done that 2 weeks ago, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get it, but you should have done it 2 weeks ago. It's not going to hurt anything, so happy to have it. Election day is today. I hope that you've been able to go out and vote already. I hope that you are having a positive experience. I'm asking you right now, how are you feeling? Confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? I'm anxious. I don't want to be anxious, but if I'm being completely and totally honest, I'm like living on the edge right now. That's just the way it is, and I bet a lot of you out there are feeling that same way as well. Ryan, what about you? How do you feel?
I am confident, but the longer it takes to get results, the
time
more
is moving slower.
anxious I get. That's the hard thing about today. Election day is always this way, and we always forget going into Election day that everybody's paying more attention. I'm sure our listenership's way up, lots and lots of people all tuning in because they want to know what's happening. I hate to tell you here at 12:30 in the afternoon, we don't know. we won't until at the earliest 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So it's just, we're all sitting here going, how do you feel?
Dana Perino said on America's Newsroom this morning, and I've had people texting me all morning, questions on the ballot. I love it. If you've got questions, text me. That's fine. But she said that she's got all these people who are like, what do you think is going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
And she said on the air, and the way she said it, I'm like, I know that tone.
I do too.
She goes, I'll tell you what I'm telling everyone. We'll see. She said that's her phrase of the day and has been their phrase for a while. Because, we want to know as much as you want to know, and we know that you want to know as much as we want to know. We're all just sitting here like waiting for it to materialize. And it's like time took forever to get here, and then all of a sudden it was a month of the election, then bazoom, here we are, and now we're sitting in okay, is time even moving?
And
how much did that time change?
If you've already voted too, which we did this morning, you feel like, okay, it's Election day, I crossed the finish line. And you're just waiting for somebody to bring a trophy or tell you what the results were, and you're just standing there with all the other runners going, can somebody tell us what the results were?
Yeah.
We're just standing here.
Feels like it's the Game 7 of the World Series, and you're up 2, and you've got your batter up there, one final strike, and then you're like, frickin' David Freese, you stay in that dugout. Don't you come out here. Everything fine the way it is. You sit down. But it depends on whether or not David Freese played for your team or not. So I don't know. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Philip and Todd, I'm going to get to your comments here in a second. But first, Brad, how do you feel today?
Well, I would say up until about 24 hours ago, I was anxious. I was very anxious. I was probably where you are right now. But as the night went on last night, it just faded. It faded away. I'm hopeful now. I have faith. I have faith that the American people will make the right choice. I have faith that God's in control. I have faith that God's sovereignty surpasses my understanding. So even if I don't understand the results of the election, I know that he said that he has the plans that he has for me, and they're plans to prosper me, not plans to harm me. I know that whatever tomorrow brings, it's for the good. And so as the night went on, my anxiousness started fading and fading and fading and fading. And I know, we look as a country, and those of you that probably voted the way I voted or likely voted the way that I voted, you look at Kamala Harris and you go, she could be an absolute disaster. And I'm here to tell you, you're probably right. But in that disaster, you have to look for the lesson that God is trying to teach you if she wins. Now, if she doesn't win, you have to look for the lesson that God is trying to teach you in Trump's victory. At the end of the day,
I want to learn an easier lesson.
That's me, though. It's like you look at this and you go, oh.
It's been so hard.
I want to learn the Trump one.
But I want to learn the Trump one.
Yeah.
But I looked back, through the Old Testament, God's people was Israel. And they didn't have it good all the time. They went through hard times. Sometimes it was out of their own hard-headedness, and sometimes it was because God was working together a plan that ultimately would work out better for them than what they wanted in the moment. I watch, you read in Exodus how God leads them through the wilderness and all this other stuff, and then right at the end, they're like, hey, let's build a golden calf and worship that. And you're like, They're like, God has abandoned us. He led you with a pillar of fire. He separated the Red Sea. No, we need a golden calf. So it's easy to do that. My point is this. God is still on his throne tomorrow, no matter who the president is. God will be on his throne, and he will be in charge from now until eternity, and that's where my hope is.
Yeah,
it's not in a political leader.
I keep thinking, God isn't worried right now. God isn't anxious right now. And I'm like, okay, but I still am. I'm just being self-aware, folks. I'm just being self-aware. 314-241-9797. We want to know how you're feeling. We're going to try to work phone calls into the show today because I feel like you kind of need to say it out loud a little bit. You need to get it out of your system. And what are we doing on this radio show if we don't give you the opportunity to do that? So we're going to go through these phone calls. We'll try to get through them as quickly as we possibly can. So I'll put you on the air. You get about a minute and you can say how you're feeling right now. The options we've given you are confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful. Maybe you've got something else. If you want to, you can go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and vote. We'll start with Philip. Philip, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. It's Election Day. How do you feel? Is Philip there? You got him up?
Yep.
Yeah, you bet.
Oh, there you go, Philip. Go ahead.
Yes. Hey, guys. No, I think all those feelings are feelings that many of us are feeling. I feel confident, hopeful, anxious because I'm working today, but at the same time, I just want to watch the news, but there's nothing on the news yet, so I got to wait till
it's
tonight.
good that you're busy.
Yeah, so stay busy. But I just want to point out, everybody's voting early. Today's my day. Today's my exciting day to get out and vote. So the wife and I decided to wait. Friends, family voted early. And then you wake up this morning, you got all this rain. We live out in Eureka. Our polling place is Brookdale Farms, and the big river was flooded, and the road was closed. So we had to take a 10-mile detour. Got behind a slow Subaru trying to get to the polling place. I think we know how they were voting.
I don't know if we know.
we don't know. But no, it was good. There was a lot of detours to get there, and we had fun, and it's just going to be a fun, exciting day.
You know what? Regardless of what happens, like, it's been a tough road to get to 2024 in general. And, Subarus for Trump, I would say, Philip. Thank you for calling the show. We appreciate you. Thank you for listening.
You bet.
Bye-bye. That's funny. I know people who drive Subarus who are definitely voting for Trump. Todd, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. It's good to have you here. How are you feeling today?
Hey, Annie. How are you all doing? Hey, I'm feeling all four of the emotions that you have on the poll, but kind of like Brad, I'm hopeful, and I'm thinking that it's in God's hands now. I think that he's going to do what's best for us. The Joe Rogan comment you made, I think that the fact that Kamala wouldn't agree to his terms lost her all his votes of all his viewers regardless. The one thing I'd like to say to anyone who hasn't voted and is getting ready to vote today, whether you're Democrat or Republican, set your feelings aside for the day and think about the facts and think about what's happened and look at it and think, have I been better the last 4 years than I was the 4 years before that? And where do I want the direction of this country to go? I really think that's what it comes down to. There's so many people that are just voting their feelings and really need to look at the records and the facts and do what's important and don't vote your feelings. Vote policy.
Amen. Todd, thank you for calling the show. We appreciate you. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. How are you feeling today on Election Day? Jack, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. How do you feel?
Hi. I'm anxious.
Yeah.
And I prayed. I was going to pray to God for a Trump victory, but I decided that was frivolous. So I prayed to God to keep Trump and his family in the palm of his hand because they have tried and they will try to kill him or them. And we need more people like Trump. We need more people like Trump. I mean, I know that he's a singularity. There's no one else like him, but we need more people like him. We do, and that's what I prayed for.
Jack,
And
I think that's a very wise prayer.
Thank you.
I think that it's a wise prayer, and I think it's one that we're praying with you, Jack. Thank you for your phone call today. Thank you for reaching out to us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye. It's important for people of faith not to saviorize Donald Trump. You don't need a savior. You've got one. But it is interesting to look biblically, historically. The Bible is a historical account, not often refuted, at least on the historicity of it. But when you look at the people who have been leaders, government leaders, nation leaders in the Bible, it's kind of an interesting, bombastic nature to a lot of them. And it's kind of a rare breed. And I saw a comment here from Eric said, y'all freaking out. I wasn't but now I am a bit. After listening to you, I was confident, but now I don't know. I'm going to reiterate what I said a little bit earlier in the show. The more hopeful I get, the more nervous I get, because I'm a mainliner. I don't want to ever get too high. I don't want to ever get too low. I want to stay central. I want to stay right there in the middle. And when something really exciting happens, you perk up a little bit, smile a little bit extra, and you take it in. When something bad happens, you go, okay, we can push through this. We can soldier through this. So there's no reason, I have again, going back to what I said earlier, I have no information here that suggests that something bad is going to happen. I actually feel like all signs point to a good night, maybe a really good night. But I am going to prepare myself to absorb that good night or that bad night with focus and perspective. And I feel like the most obvious thing to do, if you're tuning in, and maybe I'm missing the mark here, because if you're tuning into the show today, and what the easiest thing for us to do today, Ryan, you can attest to this as well, is to just go through the polls, talk about how much Trump is winning in basically all of the average polls. Donald Trump should win this election.
Yeah, barely, but yes.
But he's polling that way.
And for the first time.
And you know as much as anybody, because you're a nerd about polls, that if you put in the factor of how much Donald Trump in the actual election overperforms his polling, now we're talking that it looks like the basement outcome here is a very slim Trump win, maybe it's a very slim Kamala win. But the range of possibility exists far more into Donald Trump landslide than it does into Kamala Harris landslide.
Absolutely.
But that window is shifting over two different outcomes. And it doesn't matter if you win by 1 point or 50 points. The outcome of that is the determining factor.
You talk about your feelings and, oh, no, I feel hopeful, but the more I feel hopeful, the more I feel anxious that I shouldn't feel hopeful.
Yes.
It's funny because
I'm a mess.
Well, we are. I'm watching one of the pollsters I watch the most from Big Data Poll. He it's a lot of numbers, but I pulled this tweet up because I'm like, well, he's saying the same thing. He says, Republicans say Democrats have TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, and that may be true. But it's also true that Republicans have PTSD from 2020 and 22.
Yes.
So
we've been here before.
We're talking about feelings, we're talking about the way you approach things. That encapsulates so many people right now that you are hopeful, but you have PTSD from the last presidential election, the last 2022. It was supposed to be midterm red wave. It didn't happen. They took back the House, but they didn't get the wave. So everybody's going, man, it looks good. It looks like this could go the way that you want, but nobody's willing to really feel that until, 11 p.m., midnight tonight at best? I mean, that would be a good
I'm going to tell you
outcome.
What. In 2016, I waited for the Electoral College to cast their votes.
Ooh, yeah, I remember that because
when Christmas is here,
unfaithful electors.
There was a full-on campaign to get those electors to election night. I was like, holy cow, he won! And then I started watching this campaign to get them to switch their vote. They're like, hey, no, you don't actually have to vote for the person that you're assigned to vote for. Do the right thing. Vote for Hillary Clinton. And it was celebrities and politicians and everything. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
We've got a full board of phones. We've got Wiggins America next. It is your time to cede to the listener, Ryan, if you want to punt it to the next hour.
Yeah, I do. Let's take calls.
All right, we've got Ginger, Gary, Kyle, Melissa, whoever we're talking to out there right now, Screening. We do have one line open, 314-241-9797. I mean, really, truly, like what I was saying, like I can spew data at you all day, and you're going to spin yourself crazy doing that because we know because we're doing it. The data doesn't mean anything when the actual only poll that matters is happening right now as we speak. So we'd like to talk to you because you are the person here that matters. 314-241-9797. Lines are full right now. If somebody drops off in the break, you can maybe snag one of those lines. We'll keep taking your phone calls. Is that all right? Thanks for being with us today. We really appreciate you. We'll be right back.
I can never take the world alone. I know that in my weakness I am
This
strong.
is the Annie Fry Show.
That brings me home.
Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Hey, it's Mark Bearden for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. New Perspective is just opening. I had the chance to take a tour and meet the staff. I got to tell you, this place is amazing. They offer state-of-the-art independent or assisted living as well as memory care. Imagine your loved one enjoying delicious meals, activities, entertainment, and even an AI fall detection system. New Perspective Senior Living of Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. That's npseniorliving.com.
Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
Selling your home? Every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out the only agents I trust. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
All right, today's YouTube live chat poll. How are you feeling? Confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? I'm hearing a lot of people say, is there an all of the above option? Well, let us know which one you would pick. It's the YouTube live chat poll today. You find that by going to YouTube. You type in Annie Fry. Today's date will come up. You click on that. You watch the live stream. And by the way, we will be live streaming our watch party tonight starting at, 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So you're invited to that as well. 12:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com wants to remind you that if you pay for your own health insurance, open enrollment ends January 15th. If you are looking for coverage, do not go online looking for quotes. You'll get endless calls from call centers and they will not stop. Instead, call Greg, an expert with over 40 years experience, and he can provide sound advice for your health insurance needs. Their plans, if you qualify, let you pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there will be no surprise tax bills. If you pay for your own health insurance, own a small business, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. They will custom design a plan managed by you, not the government.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. Just one phone call or text message away. 314-324-4440. We're always looking for an angle to make sure that we are in the best financial position to succeed with the hard-earned dollars that you make. And your mortgage is probably the biggest bill that you have. 314-324-4440. You know what that's going to get you? The access to refinance that super high rate that you got on your mortgage just a couple years ago when they were at their highest highs. You can refinance, and it doesn't cost you a penny. No closing costs, no dollars spent on any closing costs when you qualify and use the Bagel Loan, which is only available at Stewart's American Mortgage. Call my friend Stewie. You can even text my friend Stewie and tell him Annie sent you about something that has to do with the Bagel Loan. Or if you're looking to make a new purchase, you can use the Bagel Loan there as well. So if you're going to get a new home, get the lowest rate possible, but also save on all of those closing costs. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
It's the most critical election of our time. The stakes have never been higher.
So grab your popcorn and MAGA hats and let's party.
Join the Annie Fry Show for an online watch party on the Annie Fry YouTube channel starting at 8 p.m. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Hey, Fidel, yes, I know we rap like them, but a little different. We sounded like, but very different, like a harmony. I took advice from my daddy and my mama. They say, boy, this world can be kind of
Trump this evening for the simple reason that there are lots and lots of polls that show it dead even. The only fact we know is that the Republicans have done a lot better in the mail-in and early voting than they ever have. And I believe that they were losing 1 to 2 points in voters who never showed on Election Day who supported them. And so the fact is they're better off. The jobs report was 12,000 jobs, which was pitiful.
So Mark Penn talking about preferring to be in Donald Trump's shoes right now. I think that that's probably the overwhelming majority of people. If you could look at how the Trump campaign is wrapped up and how the Kamala Harris campaign is wrapped up, you have seen Donald Trump run in what I consider to be an incredible campaign. We want to know how you feel today. Are you feeling confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? Lots of comments coming in on the Annie Fry YouTube channel where that poll is. We're going to breeze through as many of these comments, these callers, as we possibly can. We've got about 7 minutes in order to get through everybody. So let's start with Ginger. Ginger, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Real quick, what do you think? How do you feel?
Yeah. Hi, Annie. Long-time listener, first-time caller. How do I feel? I'm in full-blown panic mode. So I appreciate your faith and those of your co-hosts. That's phenomenal. As a small business, we have been told time and time again, look, just survive till 25. If you just get through 25, you're going to, but the last 4 years have been brutal. And I feel like this is a very historical election, and our country's never been more divided. There's so much misinformation out there. I don't think if we don't have Trump as our president, I don't think we will be able to survive.
Ginger, I'm going to hope for the best for you and everybody else who's in the position that you're in. We appreciate you listening to this show and sharing that, because I know a lot of people are in that exact same boat. So, Ginger, thank you so much for calling the show. There are so many different levels of things that are at stake with this election, which is why you guys are all showing up to vote. Like, there's another thing we could do. We could really pressure you hard today to show up and vote. Like, you guys aren't voting.
But you should.
But you should show up and vote. Yes, go vote. Vote no on Amendment 3. Go in the state of Illinois and vote for people like Kevin Schmidt for the Illinois State House in St. Clair County. Vote for Jay Keevan to send Katie Stewart packing in the State House. Those are 2 seats that absolutely need to be. And there's a lot of great county-wides in St. Clair County and Madison County Republicans running. You need to go vote for them as well. Let's get to Gary. Gary, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. How are you feeling?
Nervous as all heck.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I feel like it's like a Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs right now,
Which year?
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice if it started all over again for us, but we're still rebuilding. So just got to take one day at a time,
Yeah. Gary, we're right there with you.
I guess my biggest concern is like, the border, yeah, that's a big thing. but they call Trump a Nazi. He wants to be a dictator. Well, Biden has been sicking his FBI on him, and if Trump don't win, when's it going to be us? When's the FBI going to come at us?
Yeah.
So
there's a lot at stake, and I think what a lot of people really want is fairness. They just want to know that what is real and true is fair. Gary, thank you for the phone call. Melissa, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. How are you feeling today on Election Day?
I'm feeling fairly confident today. I'll tell you, I was anxious until probably this morning, and I got to say that you guys have been really comforting. And I think it was Brad who said, whatever happens today is a lesson we need to kind of seek and listen to from God, and that sums it up completely. Hearing some of these polls, I'm getting calls to be polled time and time again. It's the same thing. So are they skewing it? Trying to get Republicans like, oh, don't worry. Trump's ahead, all the conservative values are ahead, so nobody needs to come out. Or are they trying to get Democrats like, he's winning, you got to, get in there and vote. Whatever it was, I can't worry about it anymore. So listening to you guys has really been comforting, and thanks, Brad. I think it was Brad. I hope it was. But,
yeah. It wasn't Ryan.
That out and reminding me, so.
Melissa, we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I don't so much.
Ryan, didn't you? Didn't Brad do a great job?
I don't know. It's one of those things that, again, it's Election Day. My focus is just not on Brad right now. It's on God.
Say it.
And he sticks the landing.
Thank you very much.
Kyle, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. We appreciate you reaching out to us. How do you feel today on Election Day?
Hey, Annie. I think it's a combination of anxious but also hopeful. I'll just give you a little perspective. I'm currently active duty in the military, and we obviously swear an allegiance to a constitution, right, not a candidate. So I won't get partisan with it, but I will just say a lot of folks I know, including myself, have deployed overseas here in the war on terror and some of the other conflicts that have been going on. I personally myself, I watched Jared Smith's body come down Telegraph Road a few years ago. It's one of the worst things you could ever witness in one way, but also we have a great community around here that came out and supported him and the sacrifices that the other 12 individuals made during that withdrawal. But I will say there are some major implications on a national worldwide stage with this election. I would argue more so than any other that we've had. And I just urge folks to take it seriously, obviously, and get out and vote. I think, again, this is one of the most influential elections that we're ever going to see, and there's some big consequences either way that this goes.
Kyle, thank you for your service, and thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for that clarity. We really appreciate everything about it.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yes, appreciate you.
Confident trepidation. It's what it seems like. That's what everybody's at. You're hearing good things, but you don't want to count your chickens.
Mike, I've got less than 60 seconds. Thanks for calling the show. What do you think? How do you feel?
I'm sorry?
You're on. You got real quick here.
Okay, yeah, real quick. Well, you said something earlier there. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to get dressed and I'm going to go to work. It's going to be, business as usual. My wife and I went out and voted Saturday, and we sit on different sides of the aisle there. And, she was saying a couple things to me, and I just let it go. And at the end, I just looked at her and I said, now, look, we both believe in Christ, and we've truly seen some miracles happen in our lives. I said, whatever happened is going to happen. And she took a few seconds, looked at me, and she said, you know what? I think you're right.
Oh, gosh. Mike, thank you for making that the last call we can take right now. Very, very well done. Thank you for listening to the show. We appreciate you. All right, I've got a Jacob on the line. I can't get to your phone call right now. A couple other people calling in. I'm going to try to take phone calls later. Maybe it's the 2 o'clock hour. Maybe we'll try to get that.
Sure.
Next hour, Jim Carafano, Will Scharf, Wiggins America in the 1 o'clock hour. Stick with us. Get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. We got a whole host of people over there. We got like 250 people chatting over there. How about you? We'll be right back.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
The Retirement Advisory Group, you know Thomas Helbig, Bob and Tammy Kershaw. They are your guidance counselors when it comes to making sure that retirement is exactly what you want it to be. You've worked really, really hard, of course, to save and make sure that you have a nest egg there that you can live off of in retirement. And the real question is, how soon can I tap into that? The Retirement Advisory Group gives you the information you need to enter into retirement and have worry-free enjoyment of that retirement. You can sit down with them after you call 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494. Have a conversation with them. It costs you nothing to have that appointment. And when you schedule that appointment, after you leave, if you're like, man, it's not for me, there's no obligation. You're just free to leave. Or you can sign up with them and get going on the plan and the process. 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494. The best in the business at the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Americans are lining up to vote on Lisa Brady, Fox News, and they are long lines in some areas, even after more than 82 million Americans voted early. Former President Trump casting his ballot this morning in Florida.
I think we're going to have a very big victory today.
Adding he ran his best campaign and has no regrets.
Trump banners fly high, tethered to automobiles parked in windy Palm Beach near the Mendel Community Center, where both former President Donald Trump and wife Melania voted alongside throngs of fellow Republicans.
America was a better place when he was president.
Kara Sullivan is celebrating her 18th birthday today by voting for her first time after discussing it with mom and dad.
So my parents are very educated in this, and I feel very strongly. And the fact that they informed me enough about both presidents, they didn't just say you have to vote for Trump.
In Palm Beach, Florida, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Vice President Kamala Harris, who voted early, has been doing some battleground state radio interviews today. Meantime, running mate Tim Walz visiting a diner in Pennsylvania.
Choose what you know is right, I would ask people, that the opportunity of hopefulness, unity, forward-looking versus this absolute chaos of Donald Trump. We're going to turn the page here.
Both campaigns urging people to vote. The FBI just releasing a statement saying it's aware of bomb threats to polling locations in several states, but they say many of those threats appear to originate from Russian email domains. None of the threats determined to be credible so far. Also getting word from U.S. Capitol Police that a man's been arrested at the visitor center there, smelling like fuel and carrying a torch and flare gun. They temporarily closed that visitor center to investigate. And a shakeup in Israel, where Prime Minister Netanyahu has just fired his popular defense minister, Yoav Gallant. A surprise announcement. Those two have repeatedly been at odds over the war in Gaza. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our rain will be tapering off as we go through the afternoon, but still periods of rain and a couple of thunderstorms around. Windy, 69-70 for the high. Tonight, clearing skies. Our skies crystal clear by about midnight at the latest. 44 for the low. Wednesday, a gorgeous day. A little chilly to start. Sunny and 65 Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, sunny and 63. More wet. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Lutheran education is so important because when you're confronted with the ways of the world and then the ways of the world are trying to seep their way into your kid's classroom, you really are dependent on what kind of teacher you have in that classroom. Public education can be wonderful for kids, but when you send your kids to a Lutheran elementary school or a Lutheran high school, both of which I attended and graduated from, you have a clear understanding of how things are going to be handled. You also have access to a wonderful education. Some people might think that, oh, well, the public education and the public school system that I'm in is so great. And you might be thinking that if you go to a parochial school that there are different things that are prioritized. Zero step back in education offered, if not even a step forward. They also work with IEPs, so don't let that stop you from starting the conversation about how a Lutheran education can help your child or your grandchild. It is way more affordable than you think. LESA, that's Lisa, but it's Lutheran Elementary School Association, LESA, stl.org/Annie. That's the website to go to start learning about the Lutheran elementary schools near you. There are 37 in the bi-state region in Missouri and Illinois. They offer athletics, STEM opportunities, great education, and an atmosphere that you can trust turning your child or your grandchild over into. Lisa, stl.org/Annie.
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the stark inequalities that drive poverty. The poorest communities in the U.S. and around the world are suffering the most. Oxfam believes we can put systems in place to protect health and livelihoods in the future if we work together with dignity and compassion. Learn how you can help offer safety to the most vulnerable and fight for a more resilient future at oxfamamerica.org. Sponsored by Oxfam America.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Election night.
Live analysis, expert commentary, and the latest results.
Democracy 2024.
Join the conversation as the results roll in.
Your trusted voices on election night tonight. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the
He
Annie
basically
Fry
is
Show.
saying there are fine people on both sides of what happened on October 7th. She has praised some of the protesters who have called Israel's response genocide. It's like saying there are fine people on the side of 9/11. No, there aren't. There are terrorists and there are democracies. And she has to give the same message in Michigan as she does in Pennsylvania. And she risks losing everybody on the ground that she's a hypocrite.
So Alan Dershowitz talking about Kamala Harris's stance on the October 7th attacks that ravaged Israel, and we're still beyond a year past that, and we've heard the ads that are being run in Michigan are talking about, ceasefires in Gaza, and then the ads that are being run from the Kamala Harris campaign in Pennsylvania are saying, Israel has the right to exist and terrible terrorist attack. Which is it? So the vote that's taking place today will have massive consequences globally based on how these conflicts have materialized. And of course, the United States has a role in it. And the question is, which direction will it go? Let's talk to our friend Jim Carafano. Wonderful to have him here on Election Day, Senior Counselor to the President and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, you're a policy guy. We love that about you. Today is Election Day. I'm just wondering, how stark are the comparisons between America's choice between one candidate and the other today? Like, what's at stake on the global stage based on who America chooses?
Well, let's just talk about the issue that you raised. And I'm sorry I have to keep saying this all over again, but not a Republican, not a Democrat, don't have a dog in this fight. Harris, it's the problem is not playing politics with the issue of Israel and saying things to kind of please both sides. The problem is her heart is really with the Islamists. The people that she's brought into government, that Biden brought into government, that they're working and that are advising them, they're not on the side of Israel. And Israel will truly be alone under their presidency. That's just a fact.
I got to think that the prospect of what Israel is going to do, it seems like in these last months that Israel has chosen to do what Israel is going to do, that the American influence on those decisions, just from the outside looking in, completely novice perspective on my own, has American influence in that region waned in the last year or more due to the administration currently involved?
Absolutely. And I think you're right. Israel feels like it's alone and it's acting in its own self-interest. But here's what I would say on this thing. For people to say, well, I don't care about Israel. I don't care about the Middle East. It's a lot bigger than that, what we're seeing here. Because if you look at the global, not just the war in the Middle East, but the global intifada that was mobilized to undermine support for Israel and build support for the terrorists and the rapists, it's mind-boggling how much money, power, and influence went into that. And today it's turned on Israel and on Jews. We see expressions of Jew hate in the United States that look like something you would see in Nazi Germany in the 1930s. And today it's Israel and the Jews. Tomorrow it can be whatever. And so this has massive implications for the United States and our future foreign policy far beyond that. Remember like how often we heard about dark money and big money and money in politics from the left in campaign? Zero this year. Zero, right? Because $1 billion showed up in her campaign war chest, and all of a sudden they don't care about big money anymore. And the reality is money has bought a global intifada, and it won't stop there.
I mean, you work in policy, and I got to think to myself, like, one of the suggested policies out there is to support a ceasefire. What is a ceasefire? Like, the suggestions that are being made in a campaign season, it's hard to take really anything seriously as far as like actual actionable policy. So I'm not going to ask you specifically about the ceasefire, but how do you achieve peace in that region of the world that has biblically had conflict since the beginning of time?
We go back really to a formula that was proven that was working, which is, one is you have to put Iran back in a very small box because Iran is the root of all evil. The second is you have to have support, which is with Israel, which is the only dependable ally the United States has in the Middle East, and you have to show support for your allies. And the third thing is you have to get back to the normalization between Arabs and Israelis, because that is the future, long-term future of stability in the region. Those are the three things that you have to do, and we were doing those. And the proof of how smart and good and effective they were is that as soon as we stopped, everything went to hell.
Jim Carafano with us right now with the Heritage Foundation. You have been saying, I guess it's almost 4 years to the date, about the number one issue that was going to play a massive role in the next election. And you said this right after Joe Biden got elected. You said there were going to be millions of people coming here illegally, that they'd be welcomed into the country, and that would be a major problem for, Republican voters, Democrat voters, independent voters, non-voters who become voters. You have been on this from day one. And I'm wondering, from the moment that you made that comment here on this show to today, Election Day in 2024, how bad has the pop problem grown in that amount of time?
Yeah. Well, I can never think of another situation where I hope that I could not have been more wrong. Like, I would have been the happiest guy in the world to say everything I told you the day after the election in 2020 about how this is all going to go to hell on the border immigration. I really hoped I was going to be wrong. And, sometimes I'm just shocked. I would throw numbers out like 10 million illegal immigrants let in by the end of the Biden administration. And like, should I really say that? I mean, I know that's what I believe, but will people just think I'm like a crazy man, like Mars is going to invade or something? Look, I don't know how we go back from this. Here's the problem. Even if the Democrats win this election, their policies are simply unsustainable. Whether it's Iran in the Middle East, or green transition that's never going to work, or border immigration that's destroying this country. And when you have an untested, indecisive leader and policies that are completely unworkable, and yet they are literally items of faith of the base of your party, how do you govern? How do you rule? How do you take the country forward? I don't see how that ends well.
Speaking with Jim Carafano right now, I mean, you had the foresight to see what was going to happen, and then it happened. Do you feel like the administration, the Biden-Harris administration, had the same foresight, surrounded with the same wisdom and experts to have that foresight? Did they know what was going to happen when they did 94 executive orders of Donald Trump's?
I don't know. I marvel. I don't understand how they ever thought this was going to work for them. I assume that at some point they just thought, and I still think this is their Hail Mary pass, that this will just force a mass amnesty and that'll wipe the slate clean and that'll solve the problem. But the problem, as you know, is mass amnesties only encourage more mass amnesties. So it's not going to end. So they have created an insolvable problem that only works if essentially at the end you want to create a global right to migrate and you turn responsibility for everything over to a world government that's going to manage all this, and they'll manage it horribly. And look, I just don't see how they work their way out of this when they've even lost their own base on this. I don't understand why this issue hasn't actually destroyed them completely out of the box politically, because it's hurt everybody. It's hurt Democrats, Republicans, big cities, small cities, everyday Americans, big corporate. I mean, it's crime. It's hurt all of us, and it's literally the unsustainable program. And it is going to be and the frustrating thing is here is for Trump, even if he doesn't control both houses of Congress, it's an easily solvable problem. For the other guys, I think it's virtually impossible for them to address it in any kind of way that's going to resolve it. And for Harris basically to come out on the campaign trail and say, oh, we'll deport people. None of these things are credible. So it's things like, the joke about the dog chasing a car or like, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
So Democrats have now implemented exactly the policy that they've always wanted to implement, and they have no idea how to live with the consequences of it.
Jim Carafano, one last question before we let you go here. We'll have results hopefully sooner than later. Hopefully this doesn't get drawn out forever and ever to find out who the next president is going to be. But I'm wondering if you are of the opinion that there are people on the world stage that are waiting to see what happens next because their next move comes post the voters' decision in the United States of America.
Yeah, I'll make a prediction on this because I just thought, I've been only watching this thing for 50 years, and this is how the world works. Harris is an untested leader. And not only is she untested, I think their initial inclination is she will actually be quite indecisive and weak. She's going to be surrounded by a new team, which is actually going to be probably weaker than even the team she has now. So the first thing people will do is test her, both her friends and her enemies. On the other hand, I think Trump, people say he's unpredictable, which I really don't agree with, but he is a known quantity. People know that if people come after us, Trump will come after them. So actually, I think the first thing that will happen on Trump is our enemies will take pause, would be my guess.
Well, that's a good place to be. Jim Carafano, can't wait to talk to you next week. We will have something to talk about different than what we've been talking about for quite some time. And we are so grateful for your expertise on this show, the time that you always give to us. Very, very thankful for it.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Jim Carafano, Senior Counselor to the President, and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation on X at JJ Carafano. All right, let's take a quick break. The stakes are high. Of course, we know that. The world stage certainly maybe the highest of stakes. Election day is today. Have you voted yet? We want to know what your experience at the polls was. If you go to the Any Fry YouTube channel, leave a comment and tell us what you think about your experience voting. Maybe a lot of you have voted early as well. The YouTube live chat poll today is, how are you feeling? Confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? Dunbar says on the Any Fry YouTube channel, excited and optimistic. Gary says anxious but hopeful here. Just like any great competition, any great Game 7, all of it comes down to this. And we've got you covered here on 97.1 FM Talk. You know that we're going to have coverage tonight with the Mark Reardon show heading up everything you need to know locally. Fox News national coverage involved as well. And the Any Fry show will be doing a YouTube party, watch party at my house. So you want to join us there as well. Go vote in the YouTube poll. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
TheDiamondShop.net. You are looking for something beautiful for yourself to celebrate, something beautiful for your loved one to celebrate them. TheDiamondShop.net. That's the place to go to start your shopping process for the best jeweler in town. They've been in St. Louis since 1910. They have had over a century of success serving people exactly like you and doing it the right way. The way you get to stay in business for that long is by doing it the right way, by servicing people with their jewelry needs, whether it's a new purchase, but also repairs, also appraisals, also buying gold. They do all of that. And they also make custom jewelry. If you've got that family heirloom that you've always had and you love it, but it's not really applicable to the way you wear jewelry, maybe it doesn't fit right, take it into the Diamond Shop and see what they can do creatively to take something old and make it new and to continue its priceless nature to you, to the sentimentality that you have with it. If you go online, you can become a VIP and get access to special savings, special opportunities. The VIP sign-up is at the bottom of the webpage. All the information you need to know for your next jewelry purchase at the Diamond Shop is online at thediamondshop.net.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, write this number down or put it into your phone. 800-211-4413. The IRS is hiring more staff and cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to learn about our tax debt reduction programs and how to stop the collection efforts. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or years of unpaid taxes, even if you're already in a payment plan, we can help. Through special IRS programs, you may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a fraction of what you owe. Tax Relief Helpers has helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. No matter what amount you or your business owe to the IRS, call our tax relief hotline now for a free consultation and see what savings you may qualify for. Don't tackle the IRS on your own, and don't risk having your wages, Social Security, even your pension seized. Call now. Call 800-211-4413. That's 800-211-4413. 800-211-4413.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Tuesday afternoon, we'll count down the hours until the polls close. My friend Charles Lipson from the University of Chicago and Kenny Wallace among the guests.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show on Election Day. Boy, have we been waiting a long time to say this, and then all of a sudden it snuck up on you, and then we're here, and now we're sitting and waiting. So it's a hurry up and wait situation, and we're all feeling it. We're all got the emotions going. We know you do too. It's so empowering to walk into Circle. I filled out my ballot, and I just took a second and kind of stared at it, and well, there it is. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll go put it in this
This is what
machine.
we've been talking about so much.
I feel like I should spend some time with you, get to know you a little bit. But I'm just going to hand it over to this man.
Now you're gone?
Yes.
Is
just
all
like
that
argument for
I
that?
raised you, and now you're just in a machine?
Yes, I spent a lot of time thinking about this moment. But my vote has been counted. Did you vote earlier today, Ryan?
I did.
You voted early?
Voted early, yeah.
All right. So it is finished, at least for the three people in this room. And we're all wondering the same thing that you are. Now what? And according to Dana Perino, I'll tell you what she's telling people. We'll see. But we're going to talk to our friend. I couldn't have an election day without talking to our friend Will Scharf. He's, of course, an attorney for Donald Trump, former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri. Will, thank you for some election day time. I assume that you might be a little anxious too, but you've had some confidence about yourself as well. How do you feel?
You know, I feel great. And actually, I was talking to my buddy Rich Barris, who runs the People's Pundit, and he was telling me that the numbers out of Guam, he thinks, predict an incredibly successful election night for Republicans up and down the ticket. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get down to it. I'm excited to see how the numbers come back in a couple hours. And yeah, it should be a fun night.
Where are you right now, Will?
Sorry, I just stepped out. I'm down in Florida.
Yeah.
Up and running around doing some legal work this morning. I will be over at a party and then the convention center tonight to watch returns with a crew of MAGA folks. And it should be pretty fun.
We're excited. We're going to try to connect with you later this evening if it works out with your schedule on our watch party on YouTube. I think that the results are, I've seen things coming in and they make me get a little bit taller, stand a little bit stronger and more confident. How do you feel about the Trump campaign right now? What you know about those individuals? Is the confidence level pretty steady?
Yeah, I've been on the phone with folks from the campaign, most of the morning. Everyone's, I'd say, cautiously optimistic that people feel good. People feel good about what they're hearing on the ground. We seem to be getting turnout in the places that we need it. But ultimately, the proof will be in the pudding, and no one really knows what all these votes are until we get them opened and counted, hopefully as quickly as possible. But, yeah, the mood on the Trump campaign is I think, pretty strong. People are making some pretty bullish predictions, and I don't think anyone's seen anything to make us not optimistic at this point. Meanwhile, from what I've heard nationally from talking to journalists and a few others, the Harris campaign is very worried that they think, in an optimistic moment, they think they might squeak a victory, but there doesn't seem to be the sort of optimism around Harris's people as there are with our people.
Will, I had no idea that you were friends with Rich Barris. I was quoting him earlier in this show about...
Of course Will's friends with Rich Barris.
Of course he is. I don't know why I would have assumed otherwise. But the quote that I gave that I thought was really good from Rich was, Republicans say Democrats have TDS, and that may be true, but it's also true that Republicans have PTSD from 2020 and 2022. So, Will, my question for you is there anything that you're watching for, or maybe that the people around you are watching for, that's like, if just that can happen, then we can all breathe a little easier? Is there any indicator like that?
So once we start seeing votes tabulated after the polls close on the Eastern Seaboard, once we start seeing votes come in from North Carolina, from Georgia, from Virginia in particular, we're going to know, I think, very quickly which way this election's going. If suburban areas are overwhelmingly for Kamala, that's a problem. If the vote total in urban areas is low, that's very good for us. If the rural and ex-urban vote is very high, that's very good for us. So I think within an hour or so after polls close on the Eastern Seaboard, we're going to have a pretty good idea of whether this is going to be a blowout for President Trump, a win for Kamala, or whether it's going to be really close. So that's really what I'm looking for, is those first precincts in North Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia, which I think will tell us what sort of a world we're living in.
We're speaking with Will Scharf, our friend here on the Andy Fry Show, Donald Trump's attorney, one of his attorneys. He's also a former federal prosecutor here in the Eastern District of Missouri. Will, the question that a lot of people have, and we certainly don't have the legal expertise to know the answers to these questions, but everybody wants to make sure this election is fair. I've seen a lot of things kind of bubble up to the surface, and it seems like the RNC has been poised to take things as they come. I think it's important for people to remember that these types of question marks happen in every election, and the hope is that if there is something that comes up that's kind of weird, that it gets rectified, and the legal outcome is what happens, regardless of whose benefit it is to, that it's legal and fair. How do you feel so far about the question marks that we're seeing come up, maybe here and there, and how the RNC is responding to them?
So far, I think things have been going really well in that respect. I think the RNC's legal team and the campaign's legal team, run by David Warrington and Bill McGinley, two outstanding lawyers, they're executing on a game plan that I think should secure this election. So we had an issue in Pennsylvania this morning where machines weren't operating properly. Within minutes, they had run into court there. We got polls held open late.
That's great.
Those two Republican counties until 10 p.m. This is a seamless operation. It's an operation that I think is prepared to do what's necessary to ensure that this election goes off without a hitch or with as few hitches as possible. And then once we have results in, once we understand where these ballots came from and what's going on, we'll take things from there. But what we saw in 2020, I think, is not going to be repeated this time around. I think so far, at least, it appears to be a much more normal election, and we'll see how things progress as the night moves along.
Is that because of COVID and all the rule changes that have been rescinded now, or is it just that Republicans have their act together better?
COVID gave the Democrats an opportunity to drive a pickup truck through our system of election integrity. That everyone was scared, so the Dems were rushing into court, and the courts were signing off, blank checks, basically, to any lawyer who came waving a briefcase. That dynamic's not happening this time around, so that's, one thing that's positive. The second thing I'll say is I think that the legal team on the campaign and that the legal team at the disposal of the RNC this time around, it just seems much better organized, much more disciplined, and much more up for the fight than our team was in 2020 when things were just seemed more disorganized. So I think we have a better team ready to respond to anything that might come up. And I think the once-in-a-generation thing that was COVID isn't there to muck things up for us either.
Yeah. We've talked before on the show. I'm going to ask you to kind of have this conversation once again. But there is a factor of, I don't know if fraud is the right word, but there's a percentage that is kind of to be expected of shenaniganery maybe that takes place in any given election. And if you can overcome that in a, too big to rig fashion, then you feel a little more comfortable. How do you set the table for what people can expect and where Donald Trump needs to be in order to leapfrog the expected amount of question marks that might surface in an election?
Yeah, so, as you said, in every election, there's going to be some fraud. The goal is obviously making sure there's as little fraud as possible. And in an ideal world, there would be no fraud. We've heard stories, for example, already about illegal immigrants casting votes in certain jurisdictions. That's a huge problem. Illegal immigrants should not be allowed to cast votes. I think after this election, we need to look very seriously at whether it's national standards or otherwise ensuring that this illegal immigrant voting thing doesn't happen. That having been said, so far it appears to be a relatively minor phenomenon, something that I don't think will affect this election unless this election's extremely close. What I'm really looking for is, as we get into counting this evening, are ballots going to be mysteriously appearing? Right before polls close, are a ton of mail-in votes going to be introduced into the system in states that are receiving them then? In states like Nevada, are we going to see late arriving absentee ballots even after Election Day, which is what happened in 2022? Are we going to see buses of people showing up at the polls with dubious ID right before things close? I think if we start seeing those sorts of things, particularly in states with a history of fraud like in Nevada, then it's going to be a very long night for me and a bunch of other lawyers down here in West Palm Beach. But hopefully we don't see that. We all want a clean election. We all want an election of the United States of America, and hopefully that's what we'll get tonight.
We're speaking with Will Scharf here on the Annie Fry Show. So people who are listening right now, it's 1:35 here Central, so maybe people have voted on their lunch break. Maybe people are expecting to vote right after they get off work. Maybe they're taking off a little bit early. Can you go through some of the rights that voters have when they show up to their polling place? What do they need to know about their right to vote?
So first of all, you get to your polling place right before it closes. They announce it's closing. Do not leave the line. As long as you are in line before the scheduled end of balloting, you have a right to cast your vote. So that's number one. If you get there before the end of voting, do not leave that line. Make sure your voice is heard. Second, you show up there, you show them your ID, make sure that the information they show you is correct. Make sure that you're correctly entered in the system. If they tell you that you've already voted, that they already have a record of your vote in the system, that's a problem. That means either you already voted and you forgot, which means you should probably see your doctor about the onset of dementia, or it means someone else has illegally voted, right? Or it means someone else has
just illegally
voted using your identification.
Yeah.
So it's going to differ county by county and state by state as to sort of how exactly you deal with that. There may be a provisional ballot option, but, talk to the election officials there, see what your options are, and make sure that you end up casting a vote. This is, I've said it before on this show, this is the most important election of our lifetimes. And I would not want to wake up 10 years from now and think back to myself, wow, I really wish I'd voted in 2024. So I voted early in St. Louis County. I had to wait, about an hour and a half to do it, but I was proud to do it. And hopefully everyone else will get out there and vote, even if it's rainy, even if it's a miserable day. It's worth 5 or 10 or 20 minutes of discomfort to make sure that your voice is heard on this crucial election day.
Will, this is just a question of curiosity more than anything, but how does a campaign spend Election Day? What is the former president doing? Is he, kind of saying, okay, we've done our work, or is he still out there campaigning? I mean, what does today look like?
He didn't get back to Florida from Michigan until about 5 a.m. last night. So the president voted this morning. He then swung by Campaign HQ, did a sort of press appearance there and spoke to staff, encouraged staff. The First Lady was with him. She spoke beautifully, as she usually does. My assumption is he went back to Mar-a-Lago for a nap. That's probably what I would be doing if I were him. But I think his plan is to be at Mar-a-Lago. The campaign sort of victory party is at the convention center in West Palm Beach. That's where a lot of us will be tonight. And campaign staff will start trickling over there after votes close and after really whatever work they're doing starts to wrap up. Expect the press team, the legal team, and others to be working well into the night. Certainly until polls are closed on the West Coast. So it's going to be a long night for a lot of folks in West Palm Beach.
Yes, a long night and prayerfully a good night as well. Will, we appreciate you so much. You've walked us through years now of this campaign, and we've been enjoying every step of the way, and we look forward to having you back and hoping to have something to celebrate, of course, on the other side. So we really appreciate your time today.
I think the signs are really, really good. I think we're going to have a fun night, and I am really excited. Thanks for having me, guys. Talk to you all soon.
Yes, talk to you soon. Will Scharf, Donald Trump attorney, former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri. I think that we will see him be involved in the future of this administration should Donald Trump win today. Have you voted yet? Have you cast your ballot? It's the day. Don't put it off. We know that you guys are superstars when it comes to these types of things. So the question now that we have, like we said earlier, we can comb through every poll that's out there, and then guess what? All of the polls could be wrong. So we're kind of just trying to put our finger on your pulse today. You're the one here that matters anyway. How do you feel? How are you feeling on Election Day? Because we're very close to very, very potentially good news, or the other thing. Are you feeling confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? I said I'm anxious. Ryan, you were hopeful?
No, I'm not
Anxious?
hopeful. No, not anxious either.
You were confident.
Confident.
Of course, you are what Ryan is.
Hey, why not? Why change now?
Confident. Were you hopeful?
I was hopeful, yes.
Okay.
I still am hopeful.
All right. None of us are scared, though.
No,
not scared. You do go through all this, just like with anything. The way anxiety creeps up on you is you start going through the scenarios of how bad it could be. And that's with anything, not just an election, but anything in life. If you start thinking about, well, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
That's what brings you anxiety.
Yeah.
And of course we're doing that today. Everybody's doing that.
Which is kind of why I had to remove myself from Twitter, because I would scroll and then it would make me feel this way, and then I'd scroll and it would make me feel that way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I cannot do that. Last night I was talking about earlier in the show, I was laying in the chair, reclined in the chair, kind of watching the Trump rally, thinking, okay, it's the last one. I'm just going to kind of take this in and see what happens. Listening to that, I had CNN up on a tab on my computer. I had Fox News on a tab. I had, I think, 3 things of audio playing at one time, like a psychopath. And I was just kind of taking it all in, and there, all of a sudden at once, and I'm downstairs by myself. Everybody's been asleep for hours. It was 1:30 in the morning, and it is torrential rain outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's just pouring. We have a lot of trees in our backyard and a deck on the back of the house, so you can hear the rain a lot. You can hear it coming through all of that foliage in our backyard. And I really love the sound of rain. It's very peaceful to sit and just listen to rain, you know. And I all of a sudden felt like I gotta turn this off. Nothing's happening here. And while I was in the moment and I was consuming things and I wanted to be consuming them, I realized that I could do this all the way to morning and I will feel the exact same way in the morning as I do right now. And so I just turned everything off and I just laid back in my chair. It was dark and the rain was just coming down. And I think I went to sleep immediately, like immediately. And I didn't intend.
Because it felt like it was 2:30.
Well,
that's the other thing.
That's what I said. My husband was like, "What time did you go to bed?" I was like, "I think I finally went to sleep at 2:30." And I go, which felt like 3:30.
Oh, yeah.
But that was by the time I came upstairs. But I just, everything starts spinning. You're just trying to figure things out that are not figure-outable. And I just thought I need to just stop for a second. I need to just be still. And so I just laid back in the chair, and I think I probably slept down there for 30 minutes before I went upstairs, but it was clearly I needed a moment to just calm. So hopefully you guys get that moment and you can just keep yourself steady, because we could be on the brink of something really, really amazing that I am excited for it.
at some point, I've been watching early voting data every day and every night that I can, but at about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, now you're just recycling the same. You're looking at spin and, data is data, but then you have people interpreting it. You can go on that forever, but at a certain point, you just got to cut it off and say, well, I've seen what I need to see. And I was looking at that last night. And not to bring up, you were watching 3 different... I
had CNN on, and I had captions up. I was listening to the Trump rally, sort of. And just to, if anything came up or if a guest walked on the stage that I could then shift my focus to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just like hanging out with the Trump rally. And I had CNN on and Fox News on, and I had captions on one and the audio up on the other.
Do you know which rally it was that Rogan did the endorsement during? Was it
the last one?
Was it the last one?
The Grand Rapids one.
Because when I saw that, I thought this could be a pretty big deal. And I looked at, there was all kinds of maps that showed where people were searching that. And Pennsylvania was the number one where people were searching about that endorsement. But I only bring it up because, he said in that tweet that Elon Musk is the one that convinced him to do it. And Elon Musk's big argument for Trump, I mean, there's many, but the one that he's repeated several times is, look, you have to vote in this election for Trump because this is the last legitimate election we could maybe have with all of the illegal voters that the administration is trying to bring in for the future. They're not legal now, so they can't vote. But in the future, if it's a Kamala Harris presidency, that's going to be her goal. And I wonder what case he made to Rogan to get that endorsement.
You didn't listen to that podcast?
Which one?
The Rogan and Elon Musk one? That dropped right as I was walking out. And he made one of the most eloquent cases for freedom of speech that I've heard. And that's why that was so important. He also said when he was talking about Twitter and buying Twitter that they will come after him and try to eliminate Twitter because Twitter is a check on their unfettered power.
If you don't have freedom of speech, you don't have democracy. Okay, because if you don't have freedom of speech, people cannot make an informed vote. If they're just being fed propaganda, and there's no freedom of speech, democracy is an illusion. So freedom of speech is the bedrock of democracy. That's why freedom of speech is the First Amendment. Once you lose freedom of speech, you lose democracy. Game over. That's why I bought Twitter.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America, right around the corner. It's Election Day, and we are excited to be here with you. What will materialize in the next 24 hours? One way or another, we've got you covered. On 97.1 FM Talk, we've got all of the coverage that you are looking for tonight right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Mark Reardon at the helm for our election coverage. We're going to start national coverage with Fox News at
6 o'clock.
6 p.m. So Mark Reardon's going to get off. He's going to inhale, exhale, hand it over to Fox News National. We are very proud to be the Fox News brand here in St. Louis. We've got all of the experts at our fingertips here on this station. And then Mark Reardon's going to take over, give
7
you the
o'clock.
7 o'clock, give you the local results that you want. We're going to include national coverage with Fox News throughout the evening. And then, of course, if you want to watch the results come in with us, you pop over on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Little watch party, little fun. We're excited. We'll be right back.
Came to you when everything seemed fine.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
STS-Armory.com, STS-Armory.com. Your Second Amendment rights are being well protected when you shop with the wonderful people at STS Armory. They're located in Pontoon Beach, and if you go to STS-Armory.com, you're going to be able to learn a little bit more about them. I was driving to work today, and I saw an STS Armory sticker on the back of someone's car, and I'm like, yep, that's right. Good choice for those folks right there. If you're looking for firearms, ammunition, if you're looking for security for your home, like a safe, bedside safe or something bigger than that, they have all the accessories that you need, but they also have the education that you need. I will be taking a conceal and carry renewal class coming up here very soon to make sure that I am a law-abiding citizen who can carry in the state of Illinois. I don't make the rules, but I do follow them. If you are interested in getting your conceal and carry class, a first-time firearm owner class, if you want basic beginner training, if you want family-focused safety classes, they have all of it at STS Armory. You just need to learn more by visiting them on their website. Go to STS-Armory.com.
Outdoor living redefined, brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design, your trusted partner in crafting stunning decks, inviting screened rooms, and elegant porch overhangs. Imagine enjoying a crisp morning coffee on your beautifully designed deck, or hosting gatherings in a spacious screened room. Lakeside turns your vision into reality. Our skilled craftsmen use top-notch materials to create spaces that stand up to the elements and stand out in style. Elevate your lifestyle with Lakeside's outdoor living expertise. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. We are thrilled to announce that the Mid-America Carpenters Union is offering up to $10,000 cash to close to all McKelvey homebuyers. Use these dollars for closing costs, upgrades, or buy down your interest rate. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to own a beautifully crafted home with McKelvey legendary quality. Act fast. This offer is first come, first serve. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-353-9057. 800-353-9057 or biglou.com.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Ribicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Ribicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
Well, we're asking you this question because we want to know how we should feel. How are you feeling? Confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? That is today's YouTube live chat poll. I haven't peeked at the results, but I'm going to guess they are all over the board because everybody says, how about all of them? Confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? We'd like to know.
450 votes so far.
All right, well, keep them coming. We'd like to see how you feel.
They're scattered.
Are they?
Yes. Yep.
Well, let us know. That's the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. We'll be doing that until 3 o'clock when Mark Reardon takes over. It is 1:50 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk is your home for Election Night 2024. On air and online, we're covering the races that matter most to you with real-time results and expert commentary. Democracy 2024.
Hey, Nate. How's life? I don't know. It's all right. I've been dealing with some things like every human being and really didn't sleep much last night. I'm sorry. That's fine. I just think I need a little me time. I just think I need a little free time. A little break from the shows and the bus rides. Yeah. Last year I had a breakdown. Thoughts telling me I'm lost, getting too loud. Had to see a therapist and
This
I found out.
is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Car, take a new route. Clean up my yard, get the noose out. Hang up my heart, let it air out. I've been searching. What does that mean, Nate? I've been learning. Grabbing my keepsakes, leaving my burdens. Well, I brought a few with me. I'm not perfect. Looking at the view like this concerns me. Picking up the cues, right?
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We appreciate you being with us on a big election day. Hopefully you've got your vote cast. If you were voting after work gets done or maybe this afternoon, let us know how things are going on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. How are you feeling? Confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? We got a lot of comments coming in. We're going to get to more of your response in the 2 o'clock hour. But first, Wiggins America. Wiggins.
Oh,
Wiggins! Even the sounder was apprehensive.
It's supposed to be confident, though. That's the way I feel today.
Anxious.
A little anxious. All right. Well, this is from the New York Post. It's basically to help you deal with election banter in the workplace.
Okay.
Today. So if you have election, that is number one. Hide in a corner. If you can find a closet, crawl in there. Do not open the bleach.
And if they open the doors, just say,
not open the bleach, he says.
Trump.
Here is what New York Post says you should do to help you have a good election day in the workplace. Number one, embrace political conversations.
All right.
Rather than avoiding the topic, assume that your colleagues and even your boss are going to chat about the election because everybody's already thinking about it anyway.
Don't you think that, like, the assumption is that at this point in time, the assumption if you go into a conversation like that is that the other person automatically thinks the exact opposite of you and they hate you for thinking the way you do.
It's so, yes. Everybody,
like that's the default mode.
Yeah. You always are kind of bracing for the loudest person to speak up because you're probably not that person. If you are, well, then you're probably speaking up already.
It also is interesting because you think that the loudest, most obnoxious person, everybody listening right now thinks that the loudest, most obnoxious person is on the other side of the aisle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's not always true, but it can be. If you work in an office.
Well, when I say on the other side of the aisle, I mean from the person who's doing
from
the thinking,
where you
not
are,
from the
not
other
from
side
ours.
No, like if you're on the left, you think the obnoxious people are on the right. If you're on the right, you think the obnoxious people are on the left.
Absolutely. This says that you might as well just go ahead and have those conversations. Avoiding the conversations, and here's a great point, contributes to polarization and misunderstanding.
Yeah, talk a lot about it. I'm sure HR's like, great idea.
Right. This is the New York Post, so they can say all they want. But if you have those conversations, whether it's at work or wherever, it does help kind of, at least you kind of get where somebody's coming from. You may completely disagree, and that's fine, but at least you understand better why they believe what they believe. This can be true really of any time, not just election day.
And I think a lot of that angst and that disagreement comes from the people that are like on the fringes of each party. And they're like, you're terrible because this, and this. And so nobody wants to talk because they're worried that the person they'll talk to will be one of those 1%.
Yeah, you just think the worst.
The next one is to befriend the white space, which they're referring to
Careful.
as... I know, right? I'm like, wait a minute.
They're putting them in spaces?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, there's designated spaces, like on college campuses.
Exactly.
Befriend the white space, which means the pause. Taking deep breaths, pausing before responding. Don't respond quickly to stimulus in these conversations because it'll help if you can make sure that you're keeping a level head. I think that's good advice. Next one.
Sure.
Listen instead of aggressively trying to get your point across.
Always key for anything.
Open a conversation and then just listen. Ask, hey, did you vote? If you want to have these conversations, hey, I see your sticker. You voted this morning. How did it go? You know, these are very easy things to do, and then you can see where the conversation goes.
I disagree with asking opening questions.
You want to just let them happen to you?
No, you just, hey, I see your sticker. You got to vote. That's cool. And then, like, you go on with it. And then if the other person wants to talk about it, I don't know. We're in such an uncomfortable situation because everybody knows that this is what we do for a living, that we don't get to have casual conversations about these things.
Yeah, in the office, people here generally know where we're coming from.
Yeah, you would hope. But I also don't, I don't think you need to talk about it. I don't know why I don't agree with, get it out there in the open. I don't think that's correct. I think you should keep it all pent up inside. That's my advice.
The next one from the New York Post is ask questions.
False.
Do this if you don't agree with your employer's views or feel outnumbered by your boss and colleagues. That is a place where you can ask questions, get the conversation going, and then, referring back to the last one, listen. And I do believe that helps everything. We got time, Brad, for another couple?
More.
Okay. This one, I'm not really sure what they're meaning here, but it says, you were talking about election day. This isn't something that can happen fast. It says tap into mental health resources. According to a survey from blah, 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 40% of Americans revealed said they felt depressed or anxious around election season. Well, maybe having conversations will help with that a little bit. And then last couple here is don't expect to change anyone's opinion.
That should be the first one.
That seems like a good way to approach a conversation. You're not out to change somebody's mind or win an argument in the workplace.
Whole thing about talking about this stuff at work, the politics should not matter. It's the people who matter.
It has to happen that way.
If you're in an office setting and you're working towards a common goal, then your relationship with that person has to be the priority. And I really don't see how being like, I see you voted, how did that go, is helpful or necessary. Like, I am of the mind that I would just rather not know how people are voting. If I have a goal that I need to achieve with you that is completely outside of politics, I feel like let's just focus on that.
Now, see, you're actually hitting on some of them now. So as much as you disagreed with them, now you're kind of right in line with them, because the last couple here are maintain your humility.
Yeah.
Keep calm and carry on.
Okay.
And then last, maybe most important, agree to disagree. and walk away at any point. If it's fine to disengage. If a conversation suddenly intensifies or you think it's about to, you can say, hey, you know what? That's cool. Let's just agree to disagree.
Nah, focus on things that, I mean, politics matter. If they come up, they come up. But don't be the person who brings them up. Am I wrong?
I may be.
At this point, on Election Day?
If you have the
I
right
voted sticker?
attitude about it, I think you can do it.
I don't know. Let us know what you think. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
My whole identity had been wrapped up in being a soldier. To have that so violently ripped from me when I was wounded, I was lost for a very long time. When Wounded Warrior Project came into my life, being around the other warriors, people that had similar experiences that I did, it was a game changer for me. Having King join the group, that was the beginning of a really good friendship. It's a good time.
I first heard about Wounded Warrior Project through CQ. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I qualify. But having been a part of it, it's kind of taught me that it's not just the wounds that you can see, but it's those that you can't.
When you do something like a peer support group with Wounded Warrior Project and come together from different walks of life, man, the growth is incredible. If not for Wounded Warrior Project, I really don't think that I'd be here today.
See how we help warriors combat stigma at woundedwarriorproject.org/combat stigma.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Under Law Injury Lawyers GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A new countdown underway. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Just 3 hours left before the polls start closing in some states. Vice President Kamala Harris will be awaiting results at her alma mater, Howard University in D.C. For now, doing radio interviews with hosts in battleground states, and on V103 in Atlanta, taking aim at former President Trump's criticism of her.
I'm not going to get distracted by that noise. And it is. It's really demeaning for them as much as anything. Like, you let that come out of your mouth?
Harris says Americans are ready for a fresh start. Former President Trump telling reporters what his message would be to Harris supporters if he wins.
We want to bring everybody in. We want to be very inclusive, and we will be very inclusive. We have a great country, but we have a country that's in trouble. It's in big trouble in many ways, and we have to straighten it out.
Speaking after voting in Florida, where he also stopped into campaign headquarters to thank staffers and volunteers. The FBI says polling locations in several states have had bomb threats, but that so far none of those threats are credible, and many appear to originate from Russian email domains. The FBI also alerting voters about fake videos, including at least 2 using the Bureau's name and insignia to help spread misinformation.
Those videos, created to look like they're from the FBI, make false claims about voter fraud, alleging the management of 5 prisons in Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona had rigged inmate voting. Another recent video, which attempts to look like a CBS News report, falsely says the FBI is advising people to vote remotely due to a potential terror attack. The FBI says the videos are not authentic and their contents are false.
Fox's Lillian Wu. U.S. Capitol Police arresting a man who reeked of fuel earlier today at the Capitol Visitor Center. Police say he had a blowtorch. Fox is told he drove all night from Michigan and had a manifesto. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our rain will be tapering off as we go through the afternoon, but still periods of rain and a couple of thunderstorms around. Windy, 69-70 for the high. Tonight, clearing skies. Our skies crystal clear by about midnight at the latest. 44 for the low. Wednesday, a gorgeous day. A little chilly to start. Sunny and 65 Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, sunny and 63. More wet. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better workdays happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
If you're thinking of getting new hardwood, carpet, laminate, or vinyl flooring at one of those big box or discount stores, put it on hold. As in Reinhold. Reinhold Flooring, covering St. Louis and beyond since 1988. Residential or builder, you'll find everything you need in our showroom on Telegraph. When it comes to investing in your home, you want the best in carpet, laminate, vinyl flooring, or area rugs. Put those others on hold with Reinhold Flooring. Stop by Telegraph Road or learn more at reinholdflooring.com.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
It's the most critical election of our time. The stakes have never been higher.
So grab your popcorn and MAGA hats and let's party.
Join the Annie Fry Show for an online watch party on the Annie Fry YouTube channel starting at 8 p.m.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
So, Allentown, this is it.
one more day. One more day. One more day left in one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime, and momentum is on our side.
Oh, it is.
Just one more.
Just one more day.
One more day.
And then we can all be friends.
Of that voice. I can't.
Was that Kamala?
I don't know.
She has a very undistinctive voice.
You know those undistinctive characteristics.
Yeah, it's a word, too.
It's election day. Hooray!
Hey, yay! Welcome to 2 o'clock.
It's the same as the other hours, only now we're like really trying hard to be super fun and excited.
Yay! We're fun and excited.
I'm nervous.
I'm still confident.
Good.
I like it.
I've never known you to not be confident even when you were nervous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If somebody tells me to bust through that paper and run out onto the field, I'm going to do it even if there's a brick wall behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
With confidence.
Yeah.
I feel good about what we're seeing. There's, I was kind of thinking, gosh, we're going to have this kind of pivotal point in our show, being noon to 3, where polls on the East Coast have been open for a while. Polls are open across the country right now. I just saw, I think it said up there that polls close in 9 hours in Hawaii. And I'm like, ooh.
Ooh. Hawaii.
Ooh.
Hawaii goes red.
Will Scharf said it in the 125 segment. Will Scharf said he gave us very positive information from Guam.
Uh-huh. That's been one of the weirdest news items of the day.
I was like, oh, I didn't have that on my radar. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Reiterate.
Okay, well, from memory, it's that Guam in the last 2 elections.
Just make up something happy.
In 2016, they went for Clinton like pretty easily. I think it was like 60-40 or something like that, maybe 65-35. In 2020, they went like 75% for Biden. In this election, it's almost split down the middle. It's barely into Harris territory at last time I looked, which is a couple hours ago. But it was barely. Like it was a pretty close election.
Significant shift towards Trump.
Yes. Which, I mean, it's Guam, so you're like, who's really, I don't know the politics of Guam.
Was Guam the place that, or no, it was American Samoa, that Biden didn't win the primary?
That was American Samoa.
Some guy named
Yeah.
Jason did or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Voorhees.
Jason from, was it Jason?
Jason
no, Jason
Voorhees.
Voorhees. Is that
That's
Mike
the one that
Myers?
kills people.
That's Jason.
Yeah.
No, that's Jason. That's not Mike Myers. Well, I know very little about a lot of things. I did remember it was American Samoa, but that guy had a few seconds in the spotlight.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Guam is, wow, Guam is so far west that it's east. Like it's closer to Thailand than it is to the United States. So I guess because of where the international date line is, that puts them first.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We'll do it. We'll talk about the polls here real quick. I'm just going to breeze through them. This is based on the 2024 state races on realclearpolling.com. The national average has Harris up 0.1, which is a lot like Dixville Notch, which has 6 votes, and they go 3-3. I was staying up for that too last night.
Oh, I know.
Last year, I think they had 5 votes, and all 5 people voted for Biden. And I remember sitting up, like, getting real excited for that. That first, like, cut the tape, run through the tape, and then they had 5 votes, and they all went for Biden. And last night they had 6 votes, and they went 3-3. So, I mean, like, again, trending in the right direction. Trump has 3 votes.
I mean, it's all anecdotal,
Harris is 3.
but it is all the same anecdotal.
Yeah.
You know, it's all saying the same thing, which
That's
makes
what you
go,
would call a trend.
That's what you would hope.
National Harris up 0.1. National Harris up 0.1. Pennsylvania, Trump plus 0.4. And these are polls. These are not results. So these are just the polls that have been taken. North Carolina, Trump plus 1.2. Georgia, Trump plus 1.3. Arizona, Trump plus 2.8. Wisconsin, Harris plus 0.4. Michigan, Harris plus 0.5. Nevada, Trump plus 0.6.
Rich Barris.
No, we're obsessed with this man.
He's a data guy.
The next time you meet Will Scharf, you see Will Scharf here or whatever, don't be that guy. So you're friends with Rich Barris?
I can't promise anything.
Don't be that guy in front of me.
I really like Rich Barris.
I will have very visible secondhand embarrassment.
That's okay.
We're talking to what you talked about Rich Barris in the 12 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
And then we get to Will Scharf at 1:25. And he's like, Will Scharf says, I was talking to my friend Rich Barris. And Ryan Wiggins fell out of his chair.
I'm like, what?
Onto the floor.
Are you kidding me?
It's like, I can't believe this.
Because I quoted him in the first hour, and I don't even know if I said his name. I said, he's a big data poll guy. And I like, you guys don't even know who he was. And then Will Scharf's like, well, I was talking to that guy. I'm like, of course you were. But he
Ryan's
says,
like, we know people who know people.
I mean, it's very exciting. It's very exciting. Rich Barris says, and again, he's just a data guy. He says something has to change for Democrats in Nevada. This is 9 minutes ago. Very soon. The required margin among independents was already approaching wishful thinking for them, but this is getting more ridiculous to entertain with every passing hour if this persists. If you watch the vote that's coming in, Nevada is one of the states that you can track a lot easier because Georgia, Pennsylvania, they're hard to track because they don't have registration the way that Nevada does. But the way that the turnout is favoring Republicans right now in Nevada would suggest that it's really good. Does that apply to other states? We'll see.
Good for Trump.
Yeah, good for Trump.
Yay! I don't know what else there is. Let's talk a little bit about voting. I went to vote today. My husband is a public school teacher. He has off today. Does your wife have off today?
No.
Parochial school.
Yeah.
Your wife does.
Yeah, she's off.
So we, if you're new to the Annie Fry Show, thanks for being here. You will hear us from time to time make fun of teachers. We are all married to teachers, different teachers, but we're all married to teachers. So we by way of government document, love teachers. We've really stepped up to the plate on that one. But 2 of the 3 of our spouses are off today because the public schools do take the day off. Is that nationwide or is that just a state?
I think
of
that's an Illinois thing.
Sounds like an Illinois thing. So he's home. So we got to go vote together, which was cool. We don't always get to do that. And when we went in, we didn't. There was maybe 2 people who were like being processed in front of us, but there was no like line out around the door. But in Illinois, voting has been open for 40 days. So, and it's just like you can walk in and register to vote and then vote today in Illinois. So don't not vote because you're not registered or whatever. It was really exciting to be able to go vote, of course, for Donald Trump, but also Amy Ellick, state house representative, a Republican. She's done a great job in the 111th. Jake Keevan in Madison County for state house rep would flip a Katie Stewart blue seat red. And I think that with the rain and everything today, that if you show up, if you show out, that he could have a really decent chance at competing in that. But we have to show up for him. Madison County has a lot of great Republicans on the ballot to vote for. In St. Clair County, Kevin Schmidt is looking to hold on to his seat over LaToya Greenwood, who Kevin Schmidt beat last year. So please, 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 if you are in St. Clair County, please make sure people show up for these Illinois races that aren't getting as big of the attention as, of course, a lot of the Missouri races because they have all of their statewide governor, so on and so forth, and then the national races as well. But there are a lot of great Republicans who have stepped up in St. Clair County and Madison County right now. And we need to go support them. So I was really excited to be able to cast those votes as well. I just got done with the ballot, and I'm like, that was a great ballot. Like, I was happy with the ballot.
Yeah, there were a couple of judge retainerships and stuff that I was like, oh, gosh, this is... And so I had to look it up on the spot. But if you happen to be one of those people, I know there's probably a pretty small category of these people, but if you happen to be, whether you're Illinois or Missouri, I would imagine it's the same thing. But certainly in Illinois, I've done this before, where they moved my polling place, and I didn't know it. And obviously, I'm pretty plugged in, so if I didn't know it, most people probably didn't either. Yeah. And I showed up, this is a few years ago, showed up at my wrong polling place that used to be the right one. Well, that's the best way to find out where you're supposed to go. Mm-hmm. Just go to a polling place that's somewhere around you and say, look, I don't know if this is my polling place. They'll help you find the right one. Yeah. So I'm sure there's a website that you can look it up. For me, I just like showing up and having somebody tell me, no, go here. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did.
When I was voting today, I asked the guy, like, how's turnout been? And then the person who was sitting at the table, his eyes like bugged out of his head, and he was nodding. Like
It's big.
It's been big. And then at my specific polling place, which like the place that I go has multiple polling places in it, so I think that the districts are kind of small.
Mine too, yeah.
He said that they usually have maybe around 200 ballots cast, and it was 10 something, and I think I was 157. So he was like, we were way ahead of schedule.
There have been primaries that I turned out for in my precinct that I would go in the afternoon, so like 5 o'clock in the evening, and it would be like, you are number 18.
Yeah, and you're like, are you kidding me?
Like, my gosh,
you
if
gotta
I
write
bring...
yourself in and win.
I know, yeah, exactly. But today I showed up at 8:30 in the morning. I was already number 100. Lucky 100. I was right at it. But what's crazy is, so I went this morning, we just got a new rental property, and so I went to City Hall at 8:30 to change the water into my name. So the water was already on. I just like, look, bill me instead of the previous owner. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to show them immediately documentation of who I am. How do I know that you own this house now or live there? And one of the things they asked for was at City Hall, let me see your ID to know who you are to match this document that says you bought this house. I kid you not. I even tried to set up this example. Then I leaves there after showing them my driver's license, and I go down to my polling place right down the street, and I pull out my ID, and they go, no, we don't need to see your ID.
Yeah, they're like, put it away. Don't let me see it.
Oh, okay, so I can just have a ballot? Yep,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I mean,
Illinois.
you talk about asinine. So the logic that you have to get there is so stupid.
Well, to get there, and then on the flip side of it is, well, if you're like, shouldn't we have voter ID? And they're like, it's too hard.
It's too hard, yeah. It's too hard.
But I can't pay my water bill if I don't do that.
Right. And here's the other crazy thing is I go into my precinct, and there's the first two guys sitting there, and that's the ones that did the ID thing with. And then you walk around the corner, which is just a table, and sit next to it. And there wasn't anybody at that table. And so I said, oh, am I supposed to just grab one of these ballots? And
Let's take a handful.
Yeah. There's nobody there. But it was because they were helping people, so no fault for them. But there's two ladies that were both supposed to be sitting there. Both of them were helping people. When I said that, one of them, the younger woman, like kind of flipped out, and she goes, no, man, you're getting all up in my territory. And I was like, hey, I'm just standing here. I'm not trying to do anything. I just didn't know if I was supposed to grab a ballot or not. And she goes, no. And so she sat down and did the whole thing. And she was just very like, I don't want to say unstable, but she was like very up and down, like, oh, I'm glad you're here. Don't touch anything. And she was younger.
That's really not at all unlike how I feel right now.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to say, I think I relate to that lady. I was a little high, a little low.
But she was the one I interacted with in getting the ballot. And then so I fill it out, and if it takes 5-10 minutes or whatever, walk back to that same table to give them my envelope. And then there were two sitting there. And you know how they say you're supposed to, like, they try to have a Democrat and a Republican sitting next to each other. I don't know if that's always the way it works out, but that seems like they try to have a balance. I always look at the two and I'm like, well, which one's which? I don't never know.
They usually have the ones at our polling place had.
Oh, they have like name tags on, or
there was a lanyard with something on it, and then there was kind of another one that was sitting on top that had their name, but I could see Kret under one of them.
Oh.
I was like, good to know.
Well, I didn't see that.
They were all very kind and nice.
Sure. I didn't see that, but I was trying to pick which one was which. And I don't know for sure, but I do know the one that was very young and was kind of volatile was the first one I dealt with. The second one looked a lot like a blonde version of my mom and was like, have a blessed day. And I kind of picked which one I thought was which.
Oh, well, you never know.
You never know.
You never know. So you voted today. I voted today. Brad, you voted early.
Yes, I voted early, and I went to the O'Fallon Township building, which is where the way Illinois did it, they had like the St. Clair County Courthouse was open for a while, and then a little bit later, then they opened up some more locations. So I went there, and I walked in, and to early vote in Illinois, you have to make a request for an early vote ballot. So I walk in, I fill out this little form. They got the little areas highlighted, filled out the form, my name, my address, that sort of thing, and then I give it to people. They process it. Boom, here's your ballot. And I asked the lady that was working, I was like, well, how busy have you guys been? And she looked up, she had rainbow glasses, and she looks up at me and she goes, oh, sweet baby Jesus. I was like, she goes, is fatty meat greasy? I was like, okay. What?
Man, you're throwing a lot of signals out there with
Yeah.
all those
Yeah, I
different
don't know what that
descriptors.
means.
She's all over the map. I'm
It's,
going to say Bobby Kennedy.
Kennedy. Yeah, I wouldn't have been shocked. But anyway, she was super nice. But she said, yeah, we've been averaging about 600 people per day, and that's early voting. But the thing that blew me away was she said they've been that busy. There was a line. Like, we walked in, there were people streaming in and streaming out, but there was no standing in line. So you walked through the whole thing, grabbed your ballot, went straight back to a machine, used a little Q-tip to do the vote thing. It prints out your ballot, and then you go turn it in. I was in and out in 10 minutes.
So everything you did was electronic?
Everything was electronic whenever I went early.
What about you, Ryan?
It was all written.
Paper with a pen?
Yeah.
Yep, same here.
I'd rather do it that way.
I do too.
The whole punch in the things.
So
I never liked those because they have, hanging chads. Remember that from 2000?
Yeah. Well, the way this worked is like you fill out your ballot on the machine, and then it prints a ballot out, and you can look at it and say, yeah, this is correct, or no, this isn't.
Okay.
And then you take that over to the ballot box like you would with a.
Well, that's at least a record. Then.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you get the chance to double check your ballot before you hit print, and then you print it. And my understanding is if I was like, oh, I hit the wrong button here, or it chose the wrong one, you could cure that ballot and fix it. And then you just go over to the machine and it reads it in the machine. So, and I think it's the same machine that they use the big paper ballots on because it had a slot for big ballots. And then these are more like those narrow test, the bubble fill-in test.
Scantron?
Yeah, Scantron type ballots. And then they just go in there, but everything's just printed out on it.
Well, the YouTube live chat poll is how are you feeling? Confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? We've got that poll up for you on the Annie Fry YouTube channel right now. You can go vote. We have a total of over 500. We have 505 votes in right now. Have you voted? Let us know how you're feeling. I said I was anxious. Ryan is confident. And Brad is hopeful. Where are you on this spectrum? We are going to cover these results live tonight. And 97.1 is wherever you need us to be on air. Ryan, set up. What are people going to be able to tune in tonight to hear right here on 97.1? What's the schedule?
Well, so after us at 3 o'clock, Mark Reardon takes over as usual till 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, we go to national coverage, Fox News. Then at 7 o'clock, Mark Reardon takes back over. It'll sound a little bit different than the normal Mark Reardon show. He's going to have a lot of guests, a lot of experts. It's going to be a completely different clock, if that means anything to you.
No,
it won't be the normal. It won't be the normal clock. We'll be doing live coverage starting at 7 until
National,
at least midnight.
With Fox News, we've got access to all of that. Plus local, I know Missouri, you've got a lot of big questions that you were looking to answer. Illinois, we've got races that we're paying attention to as well, not as much as Missouri. But all of those local races, you're going to be wondering where to get those. 97.1, you're going to tune in there. And then Nick asked on our Annie Fry YouTube channel right now, we going live for a watch party tonight? You know we are going live for a watch party tonight on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel right now, and you can click the bell to notify you when we go live tonight. And guys, we always have, it's like therapy. We're all going through this together, so why not do it on YouTube and keep the party going? We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
Lights in the city might be more than pretty. That freaky shine might be more than meets the eye. Anytime you see the sparkle in
This
the dark,
is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. While we celebrate the reversal of Roe v. Wade, there is still much work to be done to support life and pregnant women before they cross state lines. Together, we can provide the love, support, and options that women need to choose life for their children. Coalition Life celebrates more than 3,500 clients served and thousands of lives saved since we began this mission with you. Each one is a miracle. Over the years, day in and day out, our team has walked alongside women facing the fear and challenges of an unexpected pregnancy. Through the support of this community, we have given them hope and a path to choose life for the children they carry. Visit coalitionlife.com to give your vital support while reducing or completely eliminating your state taxes through Missouri's 70% tax credit. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com.
Weather can be unpredictable nowadays, but your local news station on the free Odyssey app has got you covered. Whether you need an umbrella, windbreaker, or an extra layer, or two, we'll let you know. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station to listen on your smartphone or ask your smart speaker to play it before you head out the door. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station. That's AUDACY.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose, paid for by Bayer.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Replace your old furnace or HVAC system and save up to $4,400 with double carrier cool cash rebates. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The minds and voices that shape America are talking here.
This is Brian Kilmeade. This is Griff Jenkins from Fox News. This is Jimmy Fallon.
Stream it on the Odyssey app.
97.1 FM Talk.
97.1 on the Odyssey app on your phone. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You can rewind it, but you can't ever feel like you do tonight. Make a move in your mind, but don't rush it. Boy, you're about to see the light. So hang on.
Silly
You hit the post.
Put that up. I did. I tried. It's just a little fun.
Good job.
For the YouTube
if you're not watching, Annie was waiting until hang on to slide into the camera like Tom Cruise.
But then the camera angle changed. Oh no. That's so, and it was not the way I was gonna do it. Oh well, it was
still
in my
did
mind.
it.
Thank you. I
thought
nailed
it
it.
looked good. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's going to be a great video.
How do you like my sweatshirt?
The end of the video should be us saying, that was a great job, right into the camera like
That was
this.
a great job.
That was a great job, Annie.
You know the sweatshirt that I'm wearing?
Yeah.
Patriot AF.
Uh-huh.
I'm conflicted. AF is they're my initials. That's why they're on the shirt.
Oh.
You like?
Patriot AF, Annie Fry.
Yeah. Duh.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
I don't know.
Boy, it could be a good night. It could be a good years.
It's going to be a night, man. I mean, regardless, if everybody's just going, oh, please.
Yeah.
Let's get there.
The YouTube live chat poll, how are you feeling? Confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? Real quick, I want to breeze through some of your comments here because they're all over the place, which is what we are, admittedly, all over the place. Officer Gary says, I'm hopeful. I hope enough people remember that things were better under Trump. Hope enough people still love this country. Hope we can all survive 4 years of Harris if she wins. Joe says, ever driven to a costume party when you're not sure anyone else will dress up? That's how I feel today.
Wait, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, you ever gone to a party and thought, I mean, I've never done this, but I can put myself in the frame of mind where you like commit? You're like going to the party.
Yeah,
it's a Halloween party. And you're like, yeah, everybody dress up costume. And you get like to the point where you open the door and you see somebody and they're not in costume. And you're like, wait a second.
Uh-oh. This is a gorilla suit.
Maybe nobody will
I don't
notice.
think I can pass this off as normal clothes.
At least I have the mask on.
Ever driven to a costume party when you're not sure anyone else will dress up? That's how I feel today. Joe, you're funny. Russell said, I voted hopeful. Either way, whomever wins, we'll all still be here tomorrow, but hopefully under a Trump clear victory. That's what I'm hopeful for. Andy said anxious, but we'll be okay either way. This country is more than who the president is. I think that's true. Bob says, I voted anxious. I know how this should turn out, but I wonder if our country is too far gone. JC says, I know I am to just pick one, but I can't. I'm anxious but hopeful. There's a lot of that. And that's I mean, that's kind of Brad, you picked hopeful. Ryan, you picked confident. I picked anxious. I'm on the high side of anxious. I'm the happy side of anxious. That's kind of a happy anxiety, I guess. Because the possibility of what could materialize in the next 24 hours, man, we've been waiting a minute for it. And it's here. Mona says on our Facebook page, nervous wreck.
Yeah, I understand.
It's, I think it's important to talk about it, too, in that sense, because many of us are out there feeling that nervous anxiety, that worry about ourselves. And when you're feeling that, you're trying to pretend that you're not. But whatever materializes in the next 24 hours is going to be, I'm wondering if we're going to have results. Will Scharf said, I've heard other people say that we should maybe get Georgia tonight.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I mean, Florida, the amazing thing is that Florida is a bigger state than most of these states and has results in
Hours.
like that.
Yes.
Like that.
Well, most of them had that until 2020. Like, you knew by the end of the night who won.
Florida, you can see updates now. Nevada, actually, you can too. It just drives me crazy. Even in Nevada, even though you can see updates happening live, which is great, they allow ballots to come in for 3 days after the election.
J.D. Vance tweeted earlier today, we're hearing a lot about long lines and high enthusiasm. Get in line, stay in line, vote. Today is the day we take back our country. I'm really encouraged. We'll find out who's going to win tonight, but I'm really encouraged about the heading that the Republican Party has right now. There is a clarity and a focus and a freshness that exists on the Republican side of politics right now that actually does adhere more to conservatism in fiscal ways more than I have seen it in a very, very long time. And even socially, I think it's interesting to see how there is a classic liberalism that exists alongside the Republican Party right now, but also the somewhat taking back of the things that have been highlighted as being cancelable. If you are white, if you are a male, if you are Christian, if you are heterosexual or whatever it might be, or God forbid, all of those things, you've kind of had to sit down and shut your mouth for a while. Now, those people, that individual that I've just listed there, should never be perceived as more valuable than any other human ever before. One might say we should just look at each other and judge each other based on the content of one's character. But we've regressed in that so much, and people have been so spooked into not saying, wait a second, what you're saying is nuts. Like, my skin color doesn't make me bad, just like your skin color doesn't make you bad. Like, are you a crap person? That's kind of the question. It doesn't have to do with the skin color or the gender. There are so many things that are obviously true, that are apparent, that are common sense, but it's become so less common because people who are, on the whole, good, nice people didn't want to upset other people who got real worked up about things. And then in comes the political machine to commoditize the whole thing, to take on your kindness and to press on your kindness and keep you quiet so that there were things you were not allowed to talk about. I kind of feel like the Republican Party has come back and said, in a strangely classical liberal way, like, it's okay to be a Christian white person. That's okay. But it's also okay to be a non-Christian or a non-white person or whatever it is. Like, let's just be American people who have the freedoms to choose the paths that they want to choose for themselves. And let's stop boxing people in or boxing people out and handing over our ability to think and speak for ourselves to someone else so that we don't get in trouble.
It's why people feel a connection to Trump, because he just kind of comes along and he
doesn't
not,
follow other people's rules.
He doesn't. Yeah, he just kind of speaks, and it's not just, oh, how refreshing, he's not a politician. He just bombs out all that stuff and it goes, I don't care. And he says whatever he's thinking at any given moment. And it is kind of crazy to watch that continue to happen. I think it's one of the reasons that it's weird because, yes, immigration and economy are the top two issues policy-wise that people are voting on. And he clearly has an advantage with those two issues. But it's deeper than that because of some of those cultural things that have shifted in America that have left a lot of people just feeling sort of left out of the conversation, politically homeless in a lot of ways, that he came along and said, yeah, well, you can feel at home here. I'll be that guy. And then the policy kind of came afterward that made you go, actually, that guy knows what he's doing with trade. That guy knows what he's doing with foreign policy. Stuff that you weren't really sure about in 2016, but now that you've seen it, it was true. Hey, J.D. Vance, by the way, has he convinced you that he's a good candidate or what?
I never didn't like J.D. Vance as a candidate. I love Ron DeSantis. I hope that Ron DeSantis is my president one day. If Ron DeSantis were the nominee, I'd probably try to run through a brick wall to work in that administration in any way possible, any way, shape I could, because I believe in everything about him. But that never precluded me from knowing that Donald Trump's the guy, and that if I care about my country, I'm voting for Donald Trump. There was never any conflict. There was never any like, oh, but you're a DeSantis person. And other people who were always trying to draw that line of division on the right side of the aisle, they're just usually engagement farming, honestly. And I had this like pipe dream fantasy of a Trump DeSantis ticket because I'm looking like down but like that's not realistic. In Florida, I'm glad DeSantis is still in Florida. Keep doing Florida things in Florida. I really, really like the idea of Tulsi Gabbard. And I still don't think that would have been the wrong pick at all. But J.D. Vance is so ironically normal. The number one word that you could use to describe J.D. Vance is normal. And the first word that comes out of the gate from none other than the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, who is not the pick, is the weirdest dude in politics I have ever seen, is like, that J.D. Vance, he's totally weird. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know a lot about him. Maybe I was a little skeptical about him because he's like Mr. Movie Guy. I don't know. He'd said some things about Trump, and I just didn't know about him. But I wasn't down on him. And I just thought the number one thing is I want Donald Trump to know that he's Trump's guy. I want that ticket to work together, whatever that means. And yes.
Yeah.
And all of this headwinds that was coming through about how weird J.D. Vance is and what a disaster for the ticket and blah, 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 blah. It's like all of this pandemonium of people like just running back and forth with their hands in the air screaming like for 3-4 weeks or something like that. And then that stopped and everyone's like, He's really normal. He's almost too normal.
I'm suspicious.
He's almost exactly like we are. And the funniest thing about it is, the thing that I find so normal about J.D. Vance, he feels incredibly, relatably Midwestern.
Because he wears flannel and walks around holding a pig, right?
No, it's because he goes hunting with a gun he can't load.
I'm talking about J.D. Vance, not Mr. Midwest.
Dang.
Yes,
we got
wrong
him
guy.
confused.
Yes.
Other side of the ticket.
The Midwestern one.
Ah, gotcha.
Mr. Normal Midwest is not Tim Walz. If a Martian landed on planet Earth today, and probably could vote in this country, who knows if they came here by Kamala Harris's means. If a Martian landed here today and watched J.D. Vance for 5 minutes and Tim Walz for 5 minutes, and you're like, one of these guys is weird. You just got here. You don't even know which one. You don't even know what that means. He'd be like, that's Tim Walz. Weird.
And that Martian could vote in Illinois without an ID.
Yeah.
Walk right into a precinct.
Dropping
and they go,
green slime all over the ballots.
Yep.
That lady's going, let me get this in order.
Tell me your name. It's bleep, blurp, bleep, blurp. Okay, well, your signature matches.
Close enough.
It's just green slime.
You went 2 in case you make a mistake. Vote for Jay Keevan. Jay Keevan making Madison County great again. Do it. Illinois State House, Madison County, and St. Clair County get out there for Kevin Schmidt. All right. We got results to a poll when we return.
Okay.
Actual, real results that don't matter.
To this poll, yeah.
To this
to
poll.
how you feel.
Yes, and get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel right now while you're voting. Then just check out the YouTube channel and get your notification on. If you haven't subscribed yet, go do that. But we've got the watch party tonight. You can have us up on a tab on your computer, on your phone. You can participate in the chat. Generally speaking, we usually have hundreds of people who are hanging out with us, coming and going. You're going to be watching and listening to a million things. We're just going to be hanging out with you. We're going to get some results tonight, folks. I really hope so. We'll be right back.
It takes time to realize.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Ruler Foods, you get some election party foods getting going in your house right now. Well, I know the prices are through the roof. If there's only something you can do about that anyway. If you were looking to save money on your grocery bill, that starts at Ruler Foods. And if you're trying to find the Ruler Foods closest to you, that search begins at rulerfoods.com. Go online and you can see all of the different things that they have extra reduced in price. But when you shop at Ruler Foods, they carry a ton of the name brands that you know and love and that you rely on. But they also carry Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. Right now, they are absolutely excited to be promoting Thanksgiving. And I love, love, love Thanksgiving. So if you're looking to cook Thanksgiving meal, which we always do in our house, you can get a Thanksgiving meal for under $6 a person that feeds 8 people. At Ruler Foods, a part of all of this is a Kroger turkey. It's a 14-pound turkey. You get rolls, green beans, French fried onions, cream of soups, sweet potatoes, mac and cheese, stuffing, gravy, potatoes. Are you hungry yet? Cranberry sauce, large egg noodles, chicken broth, pumpkin pie, and whipped topping, and you save on all of it. Make sure you can fill your grocery cart and afford it. You can do so when you shop at Ruler Foods. Go online to rulerfoods.com.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote, 800-296-3315. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-296-3315, 800-296-3315, or go to oxcarcare.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you need the best. Onder Law. Hurt on the job? Call Onder Law today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Financial health is more than just really the investments. You have to look at tax consequences. You have to think about legacy planning or generational planning or your healthcare options. Those all go together with your financial health.
Join Matt Goolsby for Retire Hour to hear his team in finance, healthcare, estate, and taxes discuss changes in law, strategic planning, and answer listener questions. Submit your questions to be answered live on air at retirehour.com. Retire Hour, Sundays at 7 a.m., right here on KFTK.
You are right here on KFTK 97.1 FM Talk, The Annie Fry Show, until 3 o'clock.
I choose now to be super professional.
The YouTube live chat poll on Election Day. How are you feeling? Confident, scared, anxious?
Do it.
In a world where two candidates represent different visions for America, how do you feel? Confident, scared, anxious, or hopeful? If you love communism...
Ryan.
I don't really know where that sentence goes. Vote in the poll. 249. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Okay, the popcorn is being popped. We are ready for a big, big night. I'll be on the air from 3 until 6. Then former Senator Lamping joins me at 7. And we will go to the middle of December nonstop if we have to. But it all gets rolling here after Fox News at 3.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain, America, America. God shed his grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Breathe deep.
In a world.
I was actually quoting the Moody Blues when I said that.
Wait, that wasn't
Breathe
you?
Deep and shadows overhead. There's some poem they did on one of their random albums.
I thought that was authentic.
How do you
Brian
guys feel
Wiggins.
about doing some predictions here?
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Oh, man.
Let's go.
The United States House, red or blue?
Narrowly red.
Brad?
Red. Handily.
I am going to pick Republican. One way, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter by the margin.
To
It
me,
really doesn't.
It
does
doesn't matter.
Yeah, the House
No,
doesn't.
That's why it's the House.
Yeah.
I need one extra, and then these doofuses to get along enough so that they don't throw a fit and then make it a big problem. Which, by the way, I believe that when the new Congress convenes, when the new House, they have to set the rules because they would have to reelect a speaker, and hopefully they pick some better rules that allows them to govern more efficiently. I digress. Let's get there first. But yes, Republican House 3 for 3. We all agree.
Yeah.
Senate.
That's going to be close, though.
Senate, and by how many?
Okay. Senate, I'm thinking right now they're going to get 52. So I'm going to go one step more, and because there's several other states that they could pick off, and I'm going to say 53.
That's just exactly the opposite of what I would do.
Oh, really?
I would go,
opposite.
I think they're going to get 52. I'm going to hedge and say 51.
Well, there's just so many states that are so close because I'm feeling pretty good about Ohio. That gives them 52 with Montana and West Virginia. So if you get those, then you add a Pennsylvania, a Nevada, a Michigan, a Wisconsin.
I'm not saying there's
Any
anything
of
wrong
those
with your
states.
thinking. I'm just saying you, of course, go to the optimistic
Yeah.
side of prediction, and I would be like, oh, wow.
Look, it's possible that it's higher than that. Carrie Lake has a shot at this point in Arizona, which I can't believe I'm saying.
Easy now. What do you
I'm
think?
not saying she's
Brad?
going to win it.
Man, I was going to say 52, but I got thinking about that. I think it's 53. I think,
You
is
agree
it
with Ryan?
Hovde? How do you say his name up in Wisconsin?
Wisconsin?
I think he picks off a seat there. So I think you get Sherrod Brown out, or is it, what's his name?
That's Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah.
I think you get Ohio. I think you get Wisconsin.
Bernie Moreno.
And Sheehy up in Montana, and then West Virginia. So 53.
Okay.
I'm going to say red, 51.
You're going floor.
You know what, though?
Yeah,
I'll
hello.
take that.
Hi, I'm Andy. Nice to meet you.
I will take that.
Yes, it doesn't matter.
Put it in the bank.
Amendment 3 in Missouri.
Ooh, man, I don't know. I don't have enough data to really make an educated decision on it. Missouri is going to vote Republican, so it's a matter of how many Republicans cross over and vote for Amendment 3. I'm going to say it doesn't pass, but I really don't know. I really don't.
Brad?
I have no idea. This is just a shot blind guess. I think it barely passes.
I think it passes.
Yeah, I do too.
I do. My heart says that it probably will. My head says.
Ladies and gentlemen, too, if it passes, the work has just begun, and we have to figure out as neighbors how to make sure people choose life. We have to be aggressive, and we have to do it before the politicians can even get their fingers on it. We have to change the culture. And if Amendment 3 does pass, that will be a travesty, but that doesn't mean that the loss is final. It just means that there is more work to do. President?
I'm going to go No.
Get out!
No, actually, the reason that I'm going with a Republican House and maybe a higher version of the Senate is because I do believe Trump is bringing some of these people along with him with turnout. I'm actually going to predict that Trump wins every battleground state.
Brad?
I think that Trump wins. I don't know the number that he wins by, but I think he wins, and I don't think it's a landslide, but I don't think it's like he squeaks it out.
Like 270 to
Asterisk
268.
on Michigan. That one's the one that I'm least confident in.
Ethan?
I think that Trump pulls it out. I think that I would say 5 of 7 he pulls out in the battleground states.
I think Donald Trump is going to win Pennsylvania, and I think he's going to win the presidency.
Because of Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And a combination of some other
Because of
states.
Scott Pressler.
you might be right. He's been on the show.
Yes, he has.
He'll get him on Wednesday.
YouTube Live, yeah, he'll be bored. He wouldn't have to do anything more. Ethan, wrap us up here on an election day YouTube Live chat poll.
579 votes. How are you feeling? 22% say confident, 8% say scared, 34% say hopeful, 36% say anxious. I wish there was an all of the above because I think I'm all of these.
Yeah, it just like depends on the minute that you vote.
Yeah.
Well, 70% of you are anxious and hopeful, and I'm right there with you. Join us tonight on the Annie Fry YouTube channel for a watch party. We are going to have fun. We're going to get through it no matter what. 97.1 has all of the coverage that you expect from Fox News' affiliate here in St. Louis. We are St. Louis's home for conservative talk, and we are here for you, as is Mark Reardon. Next.
You've been waiting, and now is the time. Golden Oak Lending has fixed mortgage rates at 4.875%. But don't wait, this rate won't last forever. I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Why pay 20 to 30% interest rates on your credit cards when you can pay them off with our low 4.875 mortgage rate? Home values are higher than ever. That means you have more equity than ever. You can use that equity to save money by paying off credit cards, auto loans, or get cash for home renovations. You can even just lower your monthly payments. It's your equity, and you are entitled to use it to save money. And don't forget our appraisal guarantee. If for any reason your loan doesn't close, we will pay for your appraisal. Call today and take advantage of our low 4.875 fixed rate. Call 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
5.784 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll